Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Garrett Smith, also known as the nutrition detective around these here YouTube parts. And today, partially because I just spent 10 days up in Idaho with Kelsey, I was unable to prepare a lot of stuff today. So what we have is what I did a while back. And those of you who are some of these testimonials, if you want to say it in the live chat or take claim of your testimonial or in the info or in the comments below after this goes on and you watch it later, feel free to say which testimonial you were so people know that these are legit testimonials. So what I did was I asked people in the program, I said, so this is a private program. This is the Love Your Liver program inside what is called the Nutrition Detective Network. Joe, if you want to show that link, it is at members.nutritiondetective.com. And this is our private network. This is where people can go and talk and communicate and do what social media was supposed to be without trolls and without people trying to mislead them or misguide them or think they know everything when they're still terribly sick themselves, or they've, that's just basically the way that it was supposed to be without trolls. And I will continue ruling that place with an iron fist because I have no time for people who don't know what they're talking about and who are just there to disrupt. Some people just want to watch the world burn, as they say. They're not welcome. So, Joe, if you want to post the link to the doc in there. So what we did was we accumulated 40 people's comments on this thread. 40. We're not posting a testimonial here and there. I'm going to go through 40 of them. So when you compare our work to others, you can think about the shows like this where I do tons of testimonials and they cover the gamut. What I want you to pay attention to in these testimonials is the huge spectrum of symptoms that it covers. We're talking skin and digestive and physical and all that stuff. Oh yeah, Joe did a little compilation of all the systems that it covers. So I'm gonna read those to you right here. So we have allergy, immune, and histamine tolerance. We have musculoskeletal and pain symptoms, digestion and gut health symptoms, mental health and neurological symptoms, hormonal, thyroid, and endocrine symptoms, skin, hair, and nail symptoms, sleep, energy, and recovery symptoms, pediatric and developmental symptoms, lymphatic and detox symptoms, vision and sensory symptoms, and cravings and addiction symptoms. So we're going to cover all of those. Again, if you're new to this, we have a new lighting setup today. We tried just all natural lighting instead of the fake ass LED lights. So let me know which one you like better in the comments. I like the natural light better. It's a lot easier on my eyes after sitting up here I'm usually, just so you guys know, the stamina. I do this live stream, which is always at least 2 hours. And then I go and I do my inner circle live stream inside of the Nutrition Detective Network, inside of the Love Your Liver program. And that's a separate thing that you can choose to join. It is extra, but I go and do that. And that's usually another hour and a half, even 2 hours. So I regularly do 3 to 4 hours solid of live streams. So not a lot of people do that, especially with the type of brain energy that I'm putting into it. So if that says something about it, take that for what it's worth. So let's get into these testimonials. So Joe posted the link to the doc in there. And what I did with these, so for my protection and for other people's protection, there are no names on these. There are no initials even. They are all individual. And if you are a member of the Love Your Liver program, or if you become a member of the Love Your Liver program after this, then I actually put the link to the post in the document. So you can't access it unless you're a member of the Love Your Liver program. But for people who want to confirm it, if you join the Love Your Liver program, you can go and confirm it all you want. I would not make these things up. Anybody who accuses me of making these things up, you're not going to stick around long. Anyway, let's go. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Joe, of course, I forgot to share my screen first. Here we are. And let me get view full screen. Make it a little bigger. Okay. So here it is. So these are just copy pasted from the thread. The question I asked of the people in the Love Your Liver program was, what has been the most unexpected health benefit or benefits that you've experienced since following the LYL Love Your Liver program? And here's the thread link for those of you who want to go and find it. Those of you who want to go find it, if you do go and find it and you want to post more there because maybe you haven't been in the program in a while and you just saw it, I would tag Melissa Weens, and she can add them and we can go over them again in the future. For those of you in the Love Your Liver program, if you post a testimonial in there in the Love Your Liver program, tag Melissa, or tag Melissa, and then or you can send it to Julie. That is one thing that you can always email Julie about, is testimonials, and then we can use them on future. It doesn't have to be anything long. It can be a couple of sentences, but if you're one of those people who wants to write a page or two, that's cool too. I get to those when I can. Okay. Oh, I didn't highlight that. Oh, that's terrible. Oh no. Anyway, let's go. Seasonal out. So these are things that improved. Seasonal allergy symptoms from pollens, as in juniper, shamisa. Oh, you want more zoom, Joe? Oh, that's too much. That's as big as I can go. Juniper, shamisa, ragweed, etc., that bothered me for many years, haven't shown up for almost 4 years now. Almost forgot about this result. I used to need frequent chiropractic adjustments, especially for my neck and lower back. But since LYL, I don't have chronic arthritic pain in my body and have only gone to a chiropractor for adjustments twice in the 6 years on low vitamin A. None of this was expected, but definitely a great surprise. So let me add seasonal allergies, folks. If you have allergies, general allergies, totally a vitamin A toxicity symptom. They can go away. They can absolutely go away. We can fix them. And then also, I've talked about this before in episodes, the chronic need for chiropractic appointments. If you are constantly having to go in for chiropractic appointments, your body's not constantly, well, your body is, if you want to say it's going out of alignment, yes. But bones don't move by themselves. Bones move because muscles pull on them. And your diet affects how these things pull on each other. Your toxicities and your deficiencies. So if we fix those, then all of a sudden you're not pulling yourself out of adjustment all the time, and you only will need chiropractic appointments typically when something comes up. So if you're spending, think of how much money some of you are spending on chiropractic appointments weekly, multiple times weekly. How much money could you save by getting into the Love Your Liver program? It's a lot. So yeah, all that chronic arthritis pain and all that, it can go away. So I know myself, I used to regularly go and get chiropractic adjustments and have to crack my neck all the time and crack my back all the time. If you're cracking your neck all the time and you're cracking your back all the time, you are literally overflowing with calcium in your tissues. They'll try to make up reasons about what the cracking is and all that stuff. But if you think about it, the general explanation would be like something crystallized and you're cracking it open. What would crystallize in your soft tissues? That would probably be calcium. That's what we fix. So let's keep going. This one was an interesting one. It's short, larger, healthier testes and faster reaction times. I could see how those would be unexpected. Okay. Men. If you haven't seen my copper toxicity in men episode, go back a couple and watch it. Or it might just, I think it was 1 or 2 back. Definitely go and watch that one. Men, the size of your testes is reflective of how much testosterone they are making. What's the most obvious part of this? Well, when steroid users use too much, and this could even be TRT guys, their testes shrink because it's not, your testes are not a muscle, but if you think of them like a muscle, it's use it or lose it. So if you're taking testosterone from outside and your testes don't have to make it, they literally shrink because they're not doing anything. Your body down regulates. Why would your body keep using energy to make tissue down there if they're literally being told by your body's hormonal feedback systems to not make testosterone because there's so much around? That's what's happening. So it is known in heavy steroid users that their testes literally shrink. The joke is like raisins, okay? So if we are here in this program and we are helping men to improve their testosterone levels, then we can see an improvement in testes size. So faster reaction times, that's just the brain working better. Okay, number 3, this is a very common one, acne gone. That's just totally common. Okay. Number 4, major food and histamine intolerance improvements. I used to not be able to handle any garlic, onion, cinnamon, or aged meats without getting hives. Now I can tolerate small amounts without any issues. Also, major allergy and chemical sensitivity, MCAS type symptoms improvements. I still hate fragrances, but they don't make me feel so sick and exhausted like they used to. Now we're going to get into the fertility stuff. My second child is also healthier than my first was. I was high in vitamin A and ketogenic with my first, and my second was conceived and birthed while I was following this diet. So let's hit on these. Again, folks, your histamine problems, your mast cell problems, your allergies are rooted very much so in vitamin A toxicity. That may not be all of it. It's probably 75% or more, though. So if you fix the vitamin A toxicity, most of that stuff goes away. And we have multiple testimonials to this. Now, let me say something here. Garlic, onions, cinnamon, or aged meats, yes, these are high in histamine. They're also high in sulfur, which we tend to avoid or minimize. Cinnamon, cinnamaldehyde is the main thing that makes cinnamon taste the way it is, a literal aldehyde. And aged meats, yes, these get very high in histamine. So this person can now tolerate small amounts without any issues. This is what we regularly see is foods that often, okay, this is the important part. Foods that people tolerate or didn't tolerate before, often as they get in the program and they get healthier, their tolerances of these foods increase. Okay, so their system can deal with these, what we call toxicities coming in better. Does that mean that they can, people say, well, okay, so if I do the Love Your Liver program, when can I go back to eating normally? This is very much like an alcoholic saying, okay, if I stop drinking for a while, when can I go back to drinking? These things that made you sick are still toxins and will make you sick again. Can you go back to them? Sure. Can an alcoholic who quit go back to drinking alcohol? Sure. Might they be able to, if they're able to handle it, drink less and maybe not get as ruined by it? I mean, I guess possibly. What do people tend to do? They slip back into it and they start eating more and more, and they want to find the limit. They find the limit and they go, oh, this is still messing me up. And then they get to choose. We are empowering people to know what is toxic for them and what is not. And as you get better, you can tolerate certain amounts of things. Absolutely. This is what we see all the time. We see people whose alcohol tolerance goes up, even though they're not drinking on the program, which is a sign your detox system is better. Does that mean you should start drinking more just because you process it faster? No. Okay, like one of my longest time clients, I think I don't know if I talked about him last week, but he was the GERD gentleman where he could eat like 3 foods when I first met him. And he stuck with me a long time, and then he did the vitamin A toxicity thing. He had taken Retin-A and eaten tons of oranges as a kid, and we fixed it. And now he knows that if he eats his brother or his friend, I can't remember which one it was, makes like homemade brick oven pizza. And he's like, it's the most amazing thing. And he says, I'll go and he's like, I'm not going to turn it down. So he goes and eats it, and he knows that if he violates his diet for too many days in a row, then his symptoms start coming back. And he knows he just has to tighten it back down again. So he can kind of, push the button and maybe not feel so great. He can enjoy the food and maybe not feel so great. And then he just knows what he has to do when it comes up like that again. This is knowing your biochemistry. And then we start to hear, well, there's more testimonials to this of people figuring out their body and what their body likes. This is what we're teaching you, how to watch your body and feel better and know what's doing it or not, because that's the reality. If you have no idea what's causing your problems, that's kind of scary and anxiety producing, right? But once you start to see what helps you get better and what makes you worse, then you have power over it. Okay. Yeah, we see this again. Allergy and chemical sensitivity, that's getting better. And yes, still hate fragrances, but they don't make you feel so sick and exhausted like they used to. So again, better tolerance. Perfumes and scented stuff is toxic, folks. This is why our magnesium lotion, if you didn't know, is completely unscented. There's no need for scents. Stop using scented things. It's not good for you. If you're the type who walks through the detergent aisle or the laundry detergent or the soap aisle in the store and you get a headache, you need us. Your liver, what's going on is, why do you get sick when you go through that aisle? You start breathing these things in. Your lungs are made to absorb things, including they absorb toxins. They're not designed to do that, but we were never meant to be exposed to all these toxic fragrances. You absorb them, they go into your bloodstream. Your liver can't clear them fast enough, so they build up in your bloodstream, they build up in your head, in your brain, and you get a headache. Then you have to get out of there to make it go away so that your liver can then have time to clear out those toxic fragrances from your bloodstream. As your liver works better, as you love your liver, it's able to process more of those. So you don't get as sick as quickly. You can tolerate some of it, but still your body's now knows this is bad for me. I should, you can be in that scented row and smell it and then go, you don't get symptoms, but you now know I should get the heck out of here, or else it's just toxic. That's it. Your body just knows. And then this is a big thing. I tell you that literally, folks, men and women, your toxicities are passed down to your children. Some might say the sins of the father are passed down. So your child is made up of what you are made up of. If we make you less toxic, your children after that are less toxic. Her second child was healthier than her first. This is what we do. If you've been noticing that your children are getting sicker and sicker each one, or maybe your first child was pretty healthy and your second child was not, and your third child is like the runt of the litter, the really weak and sick one, or if that was you and your family, usually we see kid after kid get kind of weaker and sicker. That's the typical pattern. Doesn't happen every time, because your mom and your dad may have changed things in between kids. I actually think my son, who was the second child, was worse than my daughter precisely because I got into health foods and we started doing a lot of paleo and a lot of sweet potatoes and carrots cooked in butter. There was arugula and spinach salads. There was like probably vitamin A supplements going on in my early days of not knowing about it. And my second child was sicker, significantly sicker than my first. Okay, number 5, my ability to gain strength and lean muscle mass in my 40s with very minimal training compared to slogging it out in the gym every day in my 20s and 30s with far less impressive results. Yes, I can tell you I have this too. My training is minimal compared to what other guys are having to do. Guys, if your diet isn't working against you, if your toxicity and your deficiencies aren't working against you, and this goes for ladies too, things come easier. And muscle mass and strength should not be coming easier in your 40s according to normal stuff. So imagine the people if you had kids in their 20s and 30s who were doing this stuff. It'd be so easy. Number 6, lower back pain gone. Okay. SI joint pain. I think I've been over this in other episodes. Sacroiliac joint pain is a common cause of what people will call their low back pain. Now, SI joint pain, a lot of you who are going to the chiropractors, right? You go to the chiropractor each visit and they're like, oh, your SI joint is out. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not against chiropractors. I mean, there's shysters in all the fields of medicine, alternative and conventional. Like I'm taking my son to a chiropractor today because he was in gym class and he was squatting. He's learning how to squat, and I've got things to help him fix, like his ankle flexibility and all that stuff. But he tweaked his back. Okay, so we're gonna go to the chiropractor. Like I have a great chiropractor in town. I've heard that they told me that because since COVID, like 18 chiropractors in town that they used to refer to have retired. So it seems like the pickings are getting slim of chiropractors, but at least they're still there, and I can use them. So I will absolutely utilize physical medicine for myself and my family. The idea here is that if you're having to go all the time, there's probably something biochemical that's causing you to need that. And SI joint pain is classic in the literature. I've gone over the research on this for vitamin A toxicity, as in Accutane, causes SI joint problems. So if you have sacroiliac joint problems, or you're constantly going to your chiropractor and they're like, we got to adjust your SI joint, it's out again, it's this side, it's the right side this time, it's the left side this time, and there's no rhyme or reason, but it's just always out, or you get it adjusted and then 12 hours later it's back out, as they say, you have a biochemical problem, and we can fix that. Okay. Now, helping the children of today. My son was barely able to stand without any assistance and had a lot of muscle tone issues, drooling, etc. Hair was very dry and receding. He had a distended belly, was nonverbal, and many more. We have witnessed many changes in his speech development, gross and fine motor skills, histamine intolerance, bloating/gas, to name a few. We still have a long way to go, but he has started speaking. This is the only program we followed to the T. Very grateful. Folks, the children's issues today are toxicity. And there are going to be some improvements to the program, and especially for people who have had some symptoms that have not cleared up. That will probably be next week that I will be going over that. This is going to be a huge revelation for the people who need it, possibly for cleaning up the little things that are still sticking around for nearly everybody. It's very exciting. I had the revelations in Idaho one day, and started going down the rabbit hole, and it's going to be mind-blowing. Something we haven't really addressed yet. Okay, the rapidity, as in how fast, the cessation, as in stopping. So how fast the stopping of severe symptoms, i.e., as in, like, example, very debilitating right-sided flank pain, limiting movement, gone almost immediately, which has been constantly present for about 5 years, and some days just getting out of bed was the victory. And this happened while not completely on board with the program. Leg rash, which was a yearly event, no rhyme or reason to the outbreak for around 20 years, gone and has not returned. While not fully recovered, my life has returned to a controlled exposure of toxins, public use of chemicals, which I used to not be able to go out at all to, now to being able to return to going shopping or going out to eat with friends. So see, we give people their lives back. We've had people basically get, they were bedbound and they are not bedbound anymore. We have people who are on disability going back to work. This is the kind of program that is for somebody who is, let's say, on disability or bedbound, and they want to go back to work. This is the kind of program that does require investment and time and energy on your part. This is not a magic pill. Do I sell supplements that can sometimes seem magic for people? Yes, I do. Is that what I'm telling you to expect? No. Getting the toxins out is the most important thing. Always has been. I've always said that. Toxicity is the most important thing to address, and then deficiencies. You don't have to do it in that order. You can do them both at the same time. But the priority order is that. And one of the things, debilitating right-sided flank pain, limiting movement, my middle back pain, basically over my adrenal gland, is what got me into medicine in the first place. I might not have gone into medicine if I didn't have this right-sided back pain. And that's gone. So, and that started when I was about, I don't know, maybe 14, and lasted until I figured out that I was sensitive to dairy and gluten and nightshades. And I took all those out of my diet for a month, and my middle back pain went away, and I went, oh, wow, it's my diet. Because all the physical approaches I had done, including acupuncture and all this stuff, it would work for a day and then would come back. Sound familiar? Pay attention to this part. While not completely on board with the program. Now, folks, you're going to have to do enough of the program to get your results that you want. The idea here is that people will be like, well, they'll argue appeal to history fallacies, or they'll be like, but people didn't used to do this. It is folks, remember how I said all of us were given toxicity states by our parents, and their parents gave them toxicity. And so what we're seeing is like 80% of the kids are born with jaundice nowadays. So more and more kids are being born with jaundice. Their parents are sicker and sicker and sicker and more toxic, and their livers are sicker and more toxic. So things that people did back in the day may be the reason why you're sick today. So I wouldn't be like, well, my great grandpappy ate this way and he was fine. Your great grandpappy may have started the toxicity accumulation. It didn't affect him, but it's affecting you now because it was handed down and each parent added to it. Okay. So do you have to be completely on board with the program? No. The more you do of it, the faster your results are going to be and the better results are going to happen. So that's just the way it is. Like, it's dose dependent. The more of the program you do, the faster the results come. Okay, here we go. Realizing that I didn't crave coffee or chocolate after being on the diet a while, and so I could give them up without using willpower. Okay, there's important stuff here, folks. Chocolate. I'm gonna say it here now. After we get away from the really high vitamin A foods and copper foods, chocolate's a very high copper food. Chocolate is like the worst thing out there for you. It's we have somebody on the program. I'm not going to say who they are, but I've had, actually, it's been multiple people who are completely addicted to chocolate. And they keep coming back to me going, why am I not getting better? 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 Are you off the chocolate yet? Kelsey's been dealing with some of these folks too. Are you off the chocolate yet? No. I can't fix the toxin that you're putting in your mouth 1, 2, 3 times a day. I can't undo that. I've always said that. We cannot undo it. Chocolate's full of lead. Chocolate's full of copper. Chocolate's full of like one of the cadmium, nickel. Chocolate is horrible. That's just the way it is. So give up the chocolate. Figure out something. I'd rather we talk about vanilla having vanilla aldehyde in it. I would so much rather you did vanilla things than chocolate. Okay. But yeah, giving up things without using willpower. As we make your body less toxic, your body starts recognizing toxins better, and then it doesn't want them as much. As we help you get your energy better, you don't need to do things like coffee or the caffeine in chocolate to help you have energy. As you get either, most people, flush niacin or the MSG, the glutamate, though either one of those, I tend to think people tend to benefit more in terms of their addictions or their cravings more with either flush niacin or MSG. Not everybody's the same. I never really got any, craving or addiction benefit from flush niacin, but I definitely did from MSG. So all these things help. And the things you are addicted to or craving, you're addicted to them, you're craving them because they are toxic. Okay. Here's a big one. 2 years ago, I was hospitalized 4 times in 1 year from septicemia. That is toxicity in the blood, basically. The doctors kept me in the hospital over a week running tests and said they were trying to find exactly what bacteria that was attacking my body. Because you must be a victim of bacteria, right? I'm not saying this about the person. The person is, they understand. I don't know this person's gender. They never found a bacteria. Folks, if you're still believing in pathogen and germ theory and stuff like that, bacteria thrive. Candida to thrive in. Like they say, if you can't grow something in a garden, you got to look at the soil. Okay, if you can grow something in a garden, it's because of the soil, even if it's something you don't want to grow in the garden. Like if you make the soil uninhabitable to certain plants, they won't grow there. Well, the same thing with your body and bacteria. If you make your body uninhabitable to bacteria, they don't grow. Okay. So they pumped me full of fluids and different antibiotics to hopefully locate the one that would be effective. Wow, that's just shotgunning it, right? I would go home and be somewhat stable for approximately a couple months or so, only for the symptoms to reemerge and land me right back to the ER. My doctor said my blood work showed up as an autoimmune disease, toxicity, but the tests couldn't determine which one. Among the many that were tested, well, they all came back negative. After I came home from the last hospital visit, I was at home scrolling through X, and I don't know how to explain it. Divine intervention, I guess, but somehow Dr. Garrett showed up on my X feed. After reading his post, I became a member about 2 years ago. And since that time, I began following Dr. Garrett's instructions and have not been septic since. Words cannot express the amount of knowledge Dr. Garrett has, but I'm not just saying this. This is true. I do not know who your God is. Mine is the Lord Jesus Christ. And I thank him so, so much for Dr. Garrett. Thank you. I'm glad. I was led to this work by Jesus, I believe. Yes, I believe that's still driving this. However, you folks out there choose to believe, I don't know how I would have actually the thing that the new revelation that I'm going to bring up very soon. I suddenly saw it on my phone one day, scrolling Twitter, and I decided, I was like, that looks interesting. I should look into that. And I was open to it. And now we're going to make things even better. So these things are not accidents. And if you pray for solutions, they come because God helps those who help themselves. So if you pray for a solution, you're praying for the ability to help yourself. A solution means the solution is presented, you recognize it, and then you decide to take action on it. God helps those who help themselves. Okay. Number 11, I'm more able to sleep, rest/relax, breathe, and do physical activity. There's just less stress on the system. That's what that really means. Seems trivial, but pooping every single day. That's a very good thing. For having hypothyroidism, this is a very good thing. Yes. Someone else commented on this. They said, same, if I stray, I pay. Thankful for Dr. Garrett and this program. Most of your pooping problems, folks, are because of toxicities and deficiencies. And it can be too much soluble fiber. It could be too little. That's why now there's a big thing on Twitter. Everybody's saying more and more fiber now. And they're going to find that some people are like, that doesn't work for me. And then it's just, oh, just so you know, on some of the high fiber studies, they were saying, oh, there's all these studies that show that it's so beneficial. I've looked at some of the high fiber studies, and what they said in how they selected the people for the studies, they said they purposely left out the people who had negative reactions to fiber. That's not very scientific, is it? So what I'm saying is, for those of you out there who think fiber is all good or fiber is all bad, you're wrong. Different people's health situation and their bile toxicity situation and other aspects of high fiber foods can be the problem. And we're going to go over that soon. So, fixed my constipation and my bowel movements are huge. My stomach is always flat now too. So yes, if you would like to be proud of your poops, we can help you do that. We can help you do that. Okay. A couple really random things I've noticed in the last few months that are that both nipples now can get hard, whereas it was just the one for a long time. And these lumps I've had in front of my ears are about the size of a pea, and right in front of each ear that were there for 20 plus years have shrunk. The one is completely gone, while the other is about 2/3 the size. That was Chat GPT, right? Thinks they're lymph nodes. If it's lymph nodes, then I'll explain why I have way less snot and earwax now too. I guess a lot of my toxicity really was just in my head. Sinus stuff, like if you have a lot of runny noses, phlegm, mucus that you're spitting out all the time, I believe that this is your head trying to get rid of toxicity. Like if your brain and your eyes and everything else was trying to get rid of toxicity, it makes sense that it would try to push it out in the closest exit to it. Well, what is that? That could be your eyes, like running, what am I thinking of? tearing of the eyes. That can be earwax. That can be snot. That could be coughing up phlegm. Your body's trying to get rid of it from the most direct path that it can. Okay. And then lymph nodes. Yes, that's just think of that as backed up, trapped sewage. And if we start doing things that put less sewage in and help the sewage to get out, then all of a sudden you don't have as much other stuff coming out of your head. The other thing about lymph nodes, for those of you who aren't doing it already, the Big Six by Perry Nicholston. It's Nickelson. Perry Nicholston is the Big Six is super easy to do. Helps get your lymph moving. I like to do it on my walks because then I'm using the walk to get my lymph moving, or runs or whatever. But walking is one of the best ways to get your lymph moving. And then you can just do most of the Big Six while you're walking. The only one you really have to stop for while you're walking is to do the behind the knee, the popliteal one. And so you can get your lymph moving both ways, both passively kind of through the Big Six and actively through the walking. Okay. But if you got clogged up lymph nodes, it's because you're toxic. So helping that to move would be great, but also fixing the toxicity coming in would be the real fix. Okay. My anxious personality became non-anxious. Turns out I'm not very anxious if I eat right. Next person commented on this. These are the results I found for myself as well. And this is from the same person. This is Sarah. I left this on here because she is our EMF person. I'm actually going to have her as a guest. She's my EMF solutions person. I'm going to have her on as a guest soon. So she was saying it was kind of an existential revelation. I had to rethink my identity a bit. And then, yes, this is a different person. Early on Love Your Liver, I lost the bouts of hyper depression and anger anxiety I was experiencing at max toxicity. It was not like me, yet felt real/valid. Folks, yes, trauma plays a huge role in this stuff. Yes, there's programming and patterns and all of this stuff. What I'm going to tell you is that the cleaner you can get your brain and your nervous system, the better it runs. And then you literally get to see which parts of your mentality and your personality are from toxicity versus what other things you're dealing with. Okay. I'm in a online group for men, and I go there, once or twice or whatever a week. It's just you show up when you want to show up, and it's a small group thing, and it's been very helpful. And here's the thing that I'm finding, and many of you may have found this as well with work that you've done. I'm making amazingly fast progress through it. And the other guys in it are kind of stuck. They kind of keep rehashing the same things over and over. Why might that be? It's been said, I saw it said somewhere a long time ago that like 90% of the inmates in prison are hypoglycemic. And they commit a lot of their crimes, in theory, when their blood sugar crashes. That makes them angry and violent and all that stuff. Okay, that makes sense to me because I used to get very, very angry. And, I was not violent, but I would get very angry and very short when my blood sugar dropped. The hangry, that's a totally common thing. Okay, so, and I got rid of that, and then all of a sudden, all of that left. But I started thinking as I was in another men's group back in the past, and I remember going to these things and seeing the men come in with the same problems every week. And I started thinking later on, I went, that's got to be like their blood sugar or their toxicity or something is causing it. Why they keep repeating it? Because it's not you. It's something in you that stirs it up. It's just like premenstrual symptoms for women. Like a lot of those can go away, ladies. You're not I don't think this happened as much in the past for women of generations past. It still happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen because people have been toxic forever. But this is real. If you have a mental, emotional stuff that keeps coming up that you work on, and maybe your tools work for, I don't know, half hour or an hour, or you meditate and it helps you feel calm for a half hour or an hour or whatever, just like the chiropractic appointments. and then it all goes away, it's not the therapy that's the problem. It's the toxicity and other stuff like that. Okay. So here we go. Better vision when driving at night. This is hilarious, right? Better vision when driving at night. Somebody else commented on this. Love this. I've had some improvement here as well. Hope it continues. We are told that night blindness or bad night vision is a vitamin A deficiency. I'm saying that I don't believe, I'm not sure that vitamin A deficiency truly exists. And we do also know that poor night vision is a symptom of vitamin A toxicity. This is literally in the research. Night blindness is also a symptom of zinc deficiency. And for those of you who are asking about Matt Stone, he just got back in contact with me, and I love the guy, but he still hasn't done any of the zinc drops. So I'm hoping that he starts doing it soon. I don't know why he hasn't done it. Matt's kind of resistant to all sorts of things. He's kind of a contrarian's contrarian. So I don't know, but I think he'll get to it. He just WhatsApped me the other day, and I was like, how's it going? Are you doing it yet? And he's like, no, I'm getting around to it soon or whatever. So anyway, I hope he gets back to it. But yeah, we fix night blindness and poor night vision. So if you're out there at night and you see the halos on lights and your night vision is bad, you're vitamin A toxic. It's not vitamin A deficiency. And maybe you've taken vitamin A or eaten more carrots or whatever to try to fix it, and it probably didn't work because that's not the fix. Okay. Number 21, resolved chronic dry skin and painful eyes, right? Remember, vitamin A deficiency is said to cause skin problems and eye problems. And here we are reducing and minimizing in the diet, and we see skin problems and eye problems getting better. You have been lied to, completely lied to. Apart from the stuff I was trying to solve, fatigue, brain fog, digestion issues, I found improvement in eyesight. My gray hair is reversing back to normal color and better skin. Who doesn't love that? Okay, number 23. Getting off very high doses of thyroid meds that I had been on for 12 years, off for just over a month now with better brain function and energy than when I was medicated. Still surprised as I've tried so many times over the years to get meds lowered or off and failed every time before the Love Your Liver program. Little things like enjoying car rides in the mountains is a deal now because motion sickness is gone, and not struggling to breathe at night because stuffiness during winter is gone. Thyroid meds. Let me talk about that. We are one of the few places out there where people on their own are regularly weaning, like lowering their thyroid meds and getting off of them. Now, I don't take anybody off of thyroid meds. I don't have the doctor-patient relationship where I'm managing people's meds. So these folks are doing this on their own, in their own confidence. Now, here's what I want to say that's very important. I mean, your thyroid problems, folks, are toxicity. And we're working on that new angle that may be a huge part of, if your thyroid hasn't gotten completely better, this could be part of it. But here's all I'm going to add from my experience with thyroid meds. First, if you got put on thyroid meds and they didn't help you feel better, why are you on them? That's just a simple question. If you got on thyroid meds and you felt worse in multiple ways, there's either a dosing problem or why are you not getting along with them? Thyroid meds are made of pork. Oh, I mean, the Armor and the Nature Throid. I absolutely do not think that taking pig every day is good for you. I don't like pork. Pork is not on the Love Your Liver program. So if you are taking literally tablets of pork thyroid every day, we have a lot of older women who are on pig thyroid and like Armor Thyroid, Nature Throid, who are seemingly slowly, that when they're coming to us, they seemingly slowly get worse. And if they don't switch their thyroid, I would if I was managing someone's thyroid, if I was the type to prescribe thyroid meds, I would either be doing T3 only therapy or T3 and T4 therapy. I would not be doing pig thyroid with what I know now. It's kind of like back when I was an ND. I'm still an ND, but back in ND school, and I thought that the copper IUD was better than the hormonal one because it's a mineral. It's good for you. You need copper. So why would that not be it? And now I go, well, they're both disasters. It's all disasters. Anything birth control, like literal chemical birth control in your body, is an absolute infertility psyop. They're poisoning people. And that's why the biggest thing that drives women, the biggest thing that women say ruin their health when they come to the Love Your Liver program is birth control of whatever type. That is the most common thing. Antidepressants are like the second one. So anyway, motion sickness. Now, this is not one that I talk about a lot, but motion sickness is gone. Stuffiness like, allergies and stuff like that is gone. But yeah, we have, this is literally, this person got off of high doses of thyroid meds for 12 years. Off for over a month now with better brain function and energy than when she was medicated. High thyroid doses for 12 years, been off for a month, and better brain function and energy. Do you think there's going to be don't you think the withdrawal would have come by now? So let's keep going. Number 24, my hair stopped falling out and my nails started growing. More intensity and strength training and noticeable physique changes. Heartburn and any GI issues gone. Oh, this is a good one. We got a picture. So we don't have a before and after, but we have a picture. Number 25, my finger joints are starting to lessen in deformity and swelling. Who else does that? Since starting LYL in October 2025, so we're looking at only 5 months, I'm noticing times during a 24-hour period that my hand tightness ache is completely gone. I literally stop and notice this lack of pain sensation. OMG, my hands feel free like air, like nothing is interfering with my life force. She's noticing the absence of pain because she's so used to it. My finger joints will be a work in progress for a good spell, I am sure, but I'm excited to keep going and love the simpler meal planning. That said, I feel like Dr. G and his awesome LYL collective have shared a life-giving code to break the structure of widespread vitamin A poisoning and nutritional delusions across the board. This year, I'm compiling my complete health nutrition timeline in the spirit of Dr. Osler. As a 59-year-old who has been studying her body since she came out of the womb, you can bet I have a long arc of body wisdom and the capacity to articulate it. May my dot connecting be in service to others who are authentically curious. Stay tuned. Oh, well, I forgot to take her name off. Sorry about that. Obviously, Karina, if you're going to write about it, you don't mind people hearing about it. Okay. Folks, your autoimmune stuff, rheumatoid arthritis, chronic arthritic pain, whether it's osteoarthritis, all that stuff, it's toxicity. Now, I will say, are those knobby fingers going to completely go away with just the toxicity part? It's possible. If it were me, I would be putting like magnesium lotion or magnesium lotion on the hands probably multiple times a day to help dissolve those calcifications, which is literally what they are. If you did not know, folks, these are calcifications of the ends of the bone. Like, you know how the bone has that little, it kind of goes out at the ends and then it comes in and it goes out. These are knobbies of the cartilage and the tendon and ligament attachments. Bone spurs are calcifications of cartilage and tendons and ligaments. That's what it is. So your bone is in a certain way, it's not your original bone, but your bone is literally growing from the edge outwards. It's calcifying the tendons and the ligaments and the cartilage. That's what it's doing. So if we can remove the calcification process and then undo the calcification process, which magnesium has literally in the research been shown to do, then we can see these bony deposits, these calcifications go back to normal. Okay, number 26, improved sleep, restless leg syndrome, substantially improved. They are getting an ability to keep or gain weight. So this person must be an undertype. Undertypes, if you're out there, are the most common presentation is they are underweight and they cannot gain weight. As I've said before, if somebody's overweight, their liver's not doing great. But somebody who is chronically underweight, their liver is in worse shape than the overweight person. And it's actually shown in the mortality research and the longevity research that chronically underweight people die earlier than overweight people or obese people. And why is that? Their liver's just not doing as well. But what does everybody talk about? Well, they talk about the overweight or obesity because that's what you see all around you. And then you got people who are like the chronically underweight people, other people are looking at them going, well, at least you're not fat. And they have, and the underweight person is like, but I have all these health issues that I have a lot of trouble with. So it's like, I'm not making fun of either group. I'm saying that for those of you who are talking to chronically underweight people, they're usually suffering more in health ways than the chronically overweight people. So we help both. It's both rooted in the liver. And as we get a chronically underweight person's liver better, they start gaining weight in a good way. Okay, number 27, improved my debilitating tendonitis and trigger finger in my right hand, and the ganglion cyst I thought I would have to have removed is steadily dissolving on its own now. Cysts are toxicity storage. I know this is not the person who I helped a guy. He was a guitarist and he had trigger finger and he had Peyronie's disease, which is, the bending of the penis, which is from calcification on one side of the penis. So he had calcification here and he had calcification in his penis. Okay. Peyronie's. If you haven't looked it up, Peyronie''S. What did I have him do? Well, he did the mineral program, the Love Your Liver with the blood tests and the hair tests. And I told him, you need to put topical magnesium, whatever form you're going to use, the oil or my lotion. I don't think my lotion was out back then. Do baths, do the oil, whatever. And you need to do that like twice a day. What happened? The trigger finger went away first. And then the Peyronie's, the last I heard about it, it was improving. So there's other things you might need to do for Peyronie's, gentlemen. It would be like doing the magnesium and then literally putting a tension force into the penis so it's pulling straight. There's things out there for it. There's weight hanging. There's Phallosan, which is a stretching device that can be worn like a belt. There's things out there, but that would be remember, we want to fix the chemistry of it and we want to fix the physical aspect of it. That's how we get the best results. Okay. Don't relying just on the chemistry part. There you may need a force. Like think about it. If you calcified, if you had so much calcification going on in, like, let's say your penis, that it was literally, it would bend when erect, like that's a lot of calcification on the side of it. If you do the magnesium to dissolve the calcium, but you're also pulling it at the same time to basically straighten it, then you can improve that likely much faster. Okay. Or even like with the trigger finger, I think I had him stretching his hand and other things at the same time. So you want to, the stretching will break it up and bring it back more to normal. And it also helped break up the calcifications, which can then go away, but then the magnesium helps to dissolve more. So just think about it that way. Number 28, the seemingly usual benefits: weight loss, 15 pounds over 90 days time, improved digestion function, accumulated aches and pains gone, lower back, left hip, ball of both feet, general motion improvement in all joints, increased testosterone, somewhere from 100 plus to 125. Don't have tests in front of me. A lot of people improve their testosterone, but the thing about it is, what we're seeing here is we see what people call the symptoms of testosterone improve a lot quicker than necessarily the labs. I don't want you guys to obsess over testosterone labs. Like if your symptoms, especially you guys, if your symptoms are improving, if your libido's improving, if your ability to gain strength and muscle is improving, if you're just feeling more confident and more masculine, but yet let's say you have all those things happening. And you're like, but my testosterone lab isn't where I want it to be yet. Focus on the symptom improvements. The numbers will likely come later. And here's the other thing. Let's say you get to the point where you're 40, 50, 60, 70, and you have, because of what you've been doing, and you're not on TRT because you don't need it because you're not toxic and deficient like all the other guys who are on it, and you have good libido, and you have good erectile function, and you have good muscle mass and good strength building and muscle building and all that stuff. If everything worked fine, do you even need to know your testosterone number? Do you really? If everything they say testosterone does is working just fine in you. So what I'm saying is, don't obsess over the hormone numbers if your function is absolutely working all the ways that it's supposed to. Okay. The unexpected benefits. Had a metabolic age test from blood work in August 2025 that was 2 years younger than actual age. Okay. My most recent comparison is now 10 years, 2 months lower than actual age, courtesy of several improved markers, including backing down and away from the pre-diabetic markers, A1C and fat and fasting. I believe that's fasting blood sugar, both lower among improved markers. So he went from 2 years younger than his actual age to 10 years younger than his actual age. Do we obsess about telomeres and all that other stuff here? No, we don't. We don't obsess about any of that stuff. Go follow the human vampire erection obsessed Brian Johnson if you want to do all that telomere stuff. And the most surprising but kind of insignificant, I've had a void 2/3 of the way down the center of my right thumbnail for at least 15 years from taking on a sliver while framing that's growing back. So he had a void, would be like a hole in his right thumbnail for at least 15 years. It's growing back. Not quite there yet, but less than 1/3 of the size it was prior. I'm sure it will finish growing from the looks of it. I could wax on one of those tried every health trick in the book, guys. This way is for real, more than the sum of all prior. Thanks, Garrett. Awesome, impressive work. P.S. I dumped my local nutritional doctor. Nothing personal, for better advice available here. Now, have I ever said people are going to grow back divots in their thumbnail? No. I love hearing this stuff. But yeah, making people younger by the tests that are out there in terms of those things. I can tell you on my Hume body scale, my, what did it say? I forget what it said, but the score of my health score was like 744, which it said was very, very good. So anyway, yeah. Number 29, another thing, which isn't necessarily a health benefit, but I've become so in tune with my body, what it needs, when it needs it, and why. This is huge. Somebody else added, agree. I understand that it's not just my body getting old. Yes. You know how, like, one of the things I say is, the sayings I have is, Doc, it hurts when I do this. Well, then don't do that. Like, just think of the power of that in terms of your body says, I don't really like this. And you go, okay. You don't have to do it. Now, is that true in everything? Like if you were like, you go and you lift weights and you're like, I don't like this. And you're like, oh, then I'll quit. Like, okay, so you have to know when things are like literally good for you. And but here's one of the things we see. People on the program, and I know you guys will vouch for this. As you get better, your body starts wanting exercise. You start wanting to move your body. Now, if you're feeling much better and you're still not moving your body, look, you have to move your body to be healthy. You need to get light to be healthy. You need to move your body to get healthy. I can't change this. Food doesn't change that. Detoxing doesn't change that. You need to move your body. You need to get sunlight. Okay. You need to drink some water. Anyway, but when you're talking about things that, let's say things that are not, I guess, how do I put this? The things that are not natural, if you will. Like, let's say a supplement. If you take a supplement and you don't feel good, everybody tells you need it, or the internet's like, you need this. I mean, don't MDs out there tell you need pharmaceuticals when you don't? So what I'm saying is, if you take a supplement and it's not working, even if your test says you're low, it doesn't feel good. What you should be doing is then either reducing your dose or taking a break or not doing it, or finding a different type of that thing. Like if there was different types of zinc out there, let's say, or magnesium or potassium, which I'm going to be working on our potassium supplement here very soon. It will be something that is not commonly found in the market. As usual, we find the good stuff and make it available. So, are you just getting old? If you go to a doctor who says you're just getting old, suck it up. Life sucks. That's what it does. First of all, you can ignore pretty much everything they say, I'd say, because they're not out to improve you at all. They're just like, well, my drugs and maybe their suggestion of drink more water, take rat poison vitamin D, it's not working. And they're just like, I don't know what else to do with you. Pharma hasn't saved you. I guess you're broken. We don't go along with that. And also, one of the other things that I would like to point out is as we age, it is known in the research that serum vitamin A, as in serum retinol, and serum copper go up in people as they age. Is aging generally associated with feeling better or feeling worse? Well, we all know that it's generally associated with feeling worse. If vitamin A was good for you, and if copper was good for you, why would they go up and you feel worse? Why can people not correlate that serum vitamin A going up and we say it's toxic and serum copper going up and we say it's toxic as you age means you're getting more toxic and that's why you feel like crap more? And then you'll have the other people out there being like, no, the body's doing it to protect you. And if I said, well, okay, so if serum mercury went up as people aged, why isn't the body doing that to help you? They're like, but that's a toxic metal. And I'm going, okay, so you understand that going up and you feeling worse is a toxicity problem. But you're going to get severely delusional when I tell you that these other things are toxic and you're saying somehow the body is raising them to protect you. That is peak nutritional delusion. Okay. Oh, here we go. We have a testimonial from Hound Jog, and wow, that's a big super chat, Hound Jog. So, wow, that's really appreciated. She says, thank you, Dr. G, for curing my 30 years of bipolar. 16 months on your program and no more lows and no more manics. Survived 2 winters now, not living in my bed. Loved. I mean, wow, I just got chills. Yeah. That's kind of mind blowing. I don't understand how haters will be out there on the internet. Some of these haters I helped get better from things that nothing ever got them better. And then they turned wacky and now they're out there saying bad things about the program when I got them out of a pit that they could never get out of before. And here we have somebody saying we helped them out of their bipolar. This is what we do, folks. Of course, there's going to be resistance out there. And of course, there's going to be people who, let's say, user error or neuroticism have to find a problem with whatever. Some people will not get better. They refuse to get better. And they will self-sabotage. And if you've tried like many things, and so they get you a little better and then you go back, that's either it was a toxic program or there may be some programs going on in your head that are not allowing you to get better. But anyway, we are here for the people who want to get better and who are willing to get better. And Hound Jog, I am so happy to hear that that we helped you fix this issue. Remember, you did it. I'm a guide, right? I'm a guide providing suggestions and directions that people can follow. I am teaching people how to fish. Now, are people fishing in different areas, in different waters? Some of them are fishing on the ocean. Some of them are fishing in a lake. Some of them are fishing in a stream. I'm telling people, here's the basic way to fish. And then where they're fishing and what they're fishing for, this is like people's individuality. And they have to figure out for them, just like they have to figure out how is fishing in a stream different than fishing in a lake, different than fishing in the ocean, because what the ocean guy told me to do for fishing isn't working for me fishing in a lake. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's all fishing. But every person, it's a little different depending upon what they're fishing for and where they're fishing. Or like your car, different cars. Like I'm not talking about goofy ass Tesla Cybertrucks. I'm talking about internal combustion cars here. They all have spark plugs. They all have, radiators. They all have exhaust. They all have, they have the same basic parts. They all use gas and oil. Do they use different types of gas? Yeah, a lot of them do. Do they use different types of oil? Yeah. Do they use different tires? Yeah. It's the same types of parts. It's just different sizes and just a little, it's tweaks in it. Like a semi truck engine is not the same as a little like Fiat engine, right? But they're still all internal combustion engines. Same thing with the fishing analogy. So that's the thing. We call it similar but different. Okay. But wow, thank you, Hound Jog. I'm so happy to help you. I remember when we first started doing this work, and I had a gentleman who was having like really severe, like anger and violent episodes. I forget the name of the condition, but his wife sent me a video of him going into one of these episodes, and I was like, wow, to not use it, I was like, that's crazy. But she said he would totally calm down in between it. It was almost like, it would be like if Tourette's was like amped up and violent for like 10 or 20 minutes. And then she told me that we helped him get rid of those and he went back to work. Okay, this is like what we do. So amazing. Okay, so now number 32, more in control and aware of their health. Kind of a basic one. Number 33, energy levels increase, faster recovery, no longer have weak bowels, no longer snotty. Amazing. No waking up feeling like you drank alcohol the night before when you didn't, and no feeling extremely oddly tired after eating. So, have you guys heard of self-brewery syndrome? Self-brewery syndrome is where your gut is literally, the candida in it, in theory, is the brewer's yeast, if you will, is literally making alcohol in you. Could be the bacteria in your gut too. It's literally taking carbs and sugar and putting it into that detox process. So just so you know, and I'm not saying carbs are bad, but any amount of carbohydrates you eat, some of it turns into alcohol. Okay, this is just the way it works. I'm not saying not to eat carbs. But some people, if they're really making, let's say they're making their alcohol in it, and they've got a bad gut situation, a bad gut biome, and so they make, let's say, more alcohol, and their ALDH is slow, or they get through ALDH, and it's actually, this would more be like acetaldehyde. Yeah, so their ALDH is not processing the acetaldehyde. Sorry, I was getting confused I didn't have the pathway in my head quite right, but let's say their ALDH is slow, which we talk about all the time. ALDH blocking acetaldehyde production, or blocking the detox of it, that's what gives hangovers. So acetaldehyde is what gives you hangovers. It's not the alcohol, it's the acetaldehyde that doesn't get processed through ALDH. Well, what do we focus on here? We focus on fixing your ALDH. So then you start processing the ALDH faster, and then, like this person says, they don't wake up feeling like they drank alcohol the night before, a hangover. And then no more feeling extremely oddly tired after eating. I had this. I used to have this. This is one of the things I fixed in myself. When I was in naturopathic medical school, if I ate any gluten at lunch, or if I ate any sugar, basically I joke that it's mildly narcoleptic. I would be in class and I would have to basically go to sleep on my desk with my head down for like 5 minutes. And I would wake up after that 5 minutes and I'd be hot and sweaty. And then I'd be awake for the rest of the afternoon, because that was my blood sugar dropping most likely. And then my stress hormones kicked in and woke me up, so I didn't die of like a hypoglycemic coma. And then I'd be awake, and I was awake for the rest of the afternoon because I'm running on stress hormones, and that's what the sweating and all that stuff was. So potassium helps a lot with this. If you do feel oddly tired after eating, some of the first things you can do, just watch for gluten or glyphosate stuff that you might eat, and then also get more potassium. That will often help. Feeling tired after you eat, potassium deficiency. Feeling tired like you crash between meals, that's often magnesium deficiency. Those are just things to try. Okay. Number 35, I finally connected my extremely frequent, painful, and scarring cold sore breakouts, which had occurred every few months since I was 18, to toxic bile dumps. Since embarking on LYL, I've had one breakout in 17 months. They are basically cured. I've had these for 25 years and nothing has healed them except LYL. I am ecstatic. Okay. So wait, is it a virus? Did we stop the virus? No, it was a toxicity state. Everything viral, folks, is toxicity. Viruses are fantasy land. They were made up to keep you in the victim mind state. You have to be a victim of something. Most people, just so you guys know, most people enjoy the victim mindset. They want the victim mindset. They want to be victims because then they don't have to take any responsibility. A lot of people do this in their personal relationships, right? They're always a victim of somebody else. They never take responsibility. So viruses give people, they gave us viruses as a concept so people could continue to be in victim mode. Most people do not want to know the truth. They say they want to know the truth, but they really don't. And most people want to be victims, which the MDs give them plenty of opportunity to be. Oh, it's genetic. Oh, you're just getting old. Oh, like the genetic part has slipped into the alternative world with the whole methylation thing. Oh, you're just a victim of your genetics. Like the fact that the alternative world started taking on genetics and epigenetics is hilarious because, well, why would the alternative world love it? Because then they can just push. The biggest supplement pushers out there are the DNA genetics, epigenetics people. Those of you who have seen one of these functional practitioners, the functional genetic practitioners, or whatever you want to call them, they push more supplements than anybody else. They should be embarrassed. And then oftentimes people come back and they say, I took all these things and I didn't feel anything better, or I felt a lot worse. And I was like, wow, that's why when I got into the methylation stuff, I was into the methylation stuff for a little while. I did the testing for it, the blood testing. I did the questionnaire for it. And I did the flush niacin test, which I've talked about before, 4 people. And oftentimes they didn't match. You'd have one person testing under methylation on one of them and over methylation on 2 of them, or vice versa. Or sometimes you'd have somebody show under methylation on all 3 of them. And then you'd give them the supplements that were supposed to help them, and then they'd feel worse. And then they'd try the under methylation supplements and they'd feel better. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So I got out of it very quickly because it didn't help me much and it didn't help the people I tried it with. So I was like, this is bogus. That's the way I still feel about it. Flush niacin fixes methylation issues, which is why we do that. Okay, number 36, curing my asthma and thyroid. These 2 are huge. So many other benefits like getting off meds and too many supplements, getting more protein and minerals. They all go hand in hand. I have connected dots here like no other. The foods I thought were good were keeping me sick. Thank you, Dr. Smith, for your life's work. You are welcome. Again, I haven't even done an episode on asthma or breathing stuff. So number 37, considering all the last 5+ years, LYL is one of the major categories where I have found real inner standing to exit the matrix. There's something to the idea of the matrix. I don't know what it is. And there's no way I think any of us on earth could know, but there's something, things are not matching up. We'll put it that way. Okay, number 38, getting off Vyvanse and ADD med, lowering bioidentical progesterone 75%, getting off bioidentical estradiol and neck lymph toxic jam pain, cleared, giving me the ability to play sports without my C1 and C2 going out. I know exactly who this person is. And yes, that one of their biggest concerns and biggest health issues was their neck, and what the way it was termed was going out, right? That's the way a lot of us term it. But yeah, this person got themselves off the med. They're lowering their progesterone. They're lowering their estradiol. And their biggest health issue that would debilitate them is now getting better and they can play sports again. Okay. Okay, number 39, we're almost done. I've had many small wins, better sleep, fall asleep quicker, and no longer wake up all night to pee, improved mood and outlook. I'm losing less hair. I used to pick chunks of my long hair out of the shower drain. Now there's barely any. Less cravings for sugar, chocolate, cheese, etc. Less episodes of extreme fatigue. Tinnitus is gone. Don't feel as sensitive to EMF. I'm sure there are some I'm forgetting, but by far the biggest change has been my menstrual cycle. I'm 48. and have been in Love Your Liver for 2.5 years. 3 years or so before joining, I thought I was going through menopause. I was only having my cycle a couple of times a year, if even that, and the night sweats were more frequent. Night sweats are bile dumps. My whole life, I've suffered terrible pain. The pain would be so bad I would vomit and just cry. When I was younger, I would pop Tylenol and pain pills like they were candy, and I drank a lot of alcohol. Oof. I shudder to think of all the terrible things I've done to my liver. Well, we've all done it. That's why we're here. After about 8 months or so of practicing the Love Your Liver principles, I noticed my cycle becoming more consistent. And a short time after that, I noticed it started appearing monthly like clockwork. Now, for the first time in my whole life, I get it every 28 days on the dot. That has never, ever been my situation. My whole life, it was always random and inconsistent. The pain has gone from a 10 to about a 4 or 5, and it only lasts a day or so as opposed to 4 or 5 days. I know a woman's cycle is the measure of her health, and I'm starting to believe the symptoms known as menopause may be able to be diverted. I only wish it were 20 years ago so I could have tested the theory about LYL principles ramping up fertility. I wish now I'm sitting there going, I wish I met Kelsey earlier in my life so I could, so we could have kids and see how healthy they could be. But my kids are doing really well, and hers have improved from all this too. So we'll do what we can with what we have. The biggest benefit I've noticed is my sensitive stomach isn't sensitive anymore, and my moods are consistently better. I feel clearer in the head, and I'm less reactive. So that is the 40. Like I said, okay, so one of these comments might have been a duplicate, maybe. There was one where somebody said, "Oh yeah, I wanted to add to that." So that might have been I did not super review these to eliminate all that. I had to get a show ready because I just got back from Idaho. So thank you all for all you Love Your Liver people for posting these. This helps keep me going because I know that we all know that the powers that be out there do not want this getting out. They do not want people getting better. Remember, think of how many people were anxious and depressed in these testimonials before all this. If you know anything about looshing and all that stuff, they want you to be anxious and depressed. So they want to feed you toxicity. I'm under the belief now that they don't necessarily want to end us as much as they want us suffering first. They want us suffering as much as possible first. So that's why they'll keep keeping us alive, right? That's what hospitals do. As you're suffering, they just keep you alive longer, and they give you meds, which make you suffer more while you're still alive. The suffering is what they want. We are going to take that away from them. So let me get to the chat. And, oh yeah, like I said, we're doing a little different lighting today for those of you who might have noticed. What did Joe just send me? Oh, Joe posted. Joe said, I suspect I would have had to have been committed to a psych ward if I didn't learn about the LYL program. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Well, Joe, thank you for all your hard work. And yeah, that's amazing. For those of you who don't remember, I've been over research connecting vitamin A toxicity to schizophrenia and copper toxicity to schizophrenia. And what are the two biggest things that we work on here? Vitamin A toxicity and copper toxicity. So do we know which one could have helped all of you? No. So those of you who go out there and you're trying to talk to people about it, it's not all vitamin A toxicity. It never was. And anybody who says I'm all about vitamin A toxicity and nothing else is either purposely trying to misrepresent my work or they don't understand it. Which would be, if they didn't want to do it, the first thing they want to do is discredit it. Or all the people out there, for the people out there who watch one of my videos and look at this guy. He's obviously, just look at him. Like, he can't know anything or what. Okay, cool. We know you don't want to fix yourself. You just want to, quote unquote, be right. So let me get to the chats. Let me run through the chats. We are at 11:38. So I think I may have about 10 minutes to go through, to look through the chat. Let me see. Let me move this over so I don't have to look so far over. There we go. Oh, Hound Dog was saying schizophrenia runs in her family. I don't know if I've shown it. Let me see. Let me do a quick search. Hold on. Let me see. Let's do. Let me see if I can find this paper. There is a retinoic acid. Is it retinoic acid receptor? There it is. So I'm just going to show this, Joe. This is just an AI summary because I don't have time to go find this study right now. Research indicates that the retinoid-related orphan receptor alpha gene is a significant risk locus for PTSD, identified as the first genome-wide association study finding to reach significance in this area. Retinoid-related. Okay, so I'm not saying that this is anything huge. What I'm saying is that things that, okay, I know there's people out there saying the genetics, the science of genetics, like the way they run the DNA and all that stuff, and a computer spits it all out, is BS. Now, do I likely agree with them? Yes, because they're sending them dog DNA and they're identifying it as, they tell them it's a human DNA and they're saying it's human DNA. And so the DNA, the send in your saliva sample and all that stuff, the 23andMe, do I think a lot of that is just BS? Yeah. Now, does genetics, as in handing down characteristics to your children, exist? Absolutely. Any of you who have had kids, or you look at the other members of your family, and you can be like, oh yeah, he got that from mom, and he got that from dad, and it's so obvious. As my dad once said to me, he said, anybody who thinks that boys and girls aren't born with like genetic tendencies and aren't born different has obviously never had kids. They come out a certain way. They have certain tendencies. And then you see so many people who can never get over these tendencies their entire life because it's genetics. So genetics is, in terms of handed down characteristics, yes. In terms of the science of genetics, probably horseshit. Okay. So I don't know how valid this is, but if they were finding, let's say somebody was more sensitive to vitamin A toxicity in their brain. And if they got vitamin A toxicity and then they had a traumatic event, it is more likely to trigger an ongoing problem. That makes sense to me. We all have our genetic weaknesses. That's it. There's weak links in your chain. This is why your particular combination of your toxicities and your deficiencies combined with your genetics is why your symptoms showed up as they did. And maybe you had a brother who was exposed to the same foods growing up in the same general environment who has different symptoms than you. That's how this works. So, Joe, you can stop sharing that one if you haven't already. There you go. Let me go find the questions again, or the chat, I mean. So let's see. And good morning to all of you who are here. I'll just say that. We'll do that one. Joe posted the copper and min, especially reproductive symptoms. Joe posted that in there. Like I said, I'm going to do women's soon. Oh, ladies, the women's one is going to be huge. Like, I already did a whole show on endometriosis and PCOS, but we're going to go into just copper on it. Okay. Oh, Dave suggested a mini tramp for lymph drainage too. Yes, I mean, really, when you think about it, any kind of, what does a tramp do? What does a mini trampoline do? It's basically it's the bottom part where you're going to hit the bottom of the trampoline stretch and then it comes up. It's that shift in direction going down to going up that pulls. Like if you see pictures of people on a trampoline at the bottom, their face would be like this, right? It's pulling it down. That's pulling the lymph out of places that it's stuck and moving it to another place. So it's just moving the lymph. That's really what you want to do, is move the lymph. It's a one-way kind of system. But if it gets stuck in the lymph nodes, then that's a problem. But yeah, so mini tramp, I really want to emphasize this for those of you who can't, like, you're still bedbound right now, or you're still, basically on disability. You're so sick that you can't move much. the two places that you can start, one is just walking around your house. If you're, for as much as you can. The other one would be like the mini trampoline. But what I want to emphasize on it is you're not jumping off of it. You're not leaving the trampoline unless you want to, but at the start, you're just bobbing on it. You're not leaving it. Like think of super low impact trampoline. You're just bobbing on it. Oh, Joe posted the endometriosis and PCOS live stream if you guys want to watch that. That's one of my old ones where I went through all the toxicities connected to it and all the deficiencies connected to it. So we're gonna hit on just copper and women's problems. So anyway, the trampoline you're just bobbing on it. And then there can be also, walking is the same thing. When you take a step, right, you hit the ground, and that's the reaction force. The other thing you could do if you can't even do the trampoline is get a vibration plate. I think people were saying in the program that the power plate was the big one that they use in the research. So just some vibration plate, just moving you, so you're moving the lymph. If you can't walk and you can't do exercise, and those are places you can start. As you feel better, you can start walking. You can start I'm kind of, I'm built a little different. I go on my neighborhood walk and I run up the hills and then I walk the rest of it, or I walk backwards down the hills. So that's like, I'd rather run for a short time and make it harder than run a long time. And I think it's better for your strength density and all that stuff to be like running up hills than to just be walking them. But I'm I've been doing this for a long time. So if you're not there yet, start with what you can. Trying to push too hard will only make you feel worse, and it won't necessarily move you any faster. Okay. So, Dragonfly says, Doc, your face has changed from all the wonderful things you are doing. It's obvious now. Thank you for sharing your life with us. I didn't go into this trying to do that. And really, one of the things that's funny is when people still today will be like, well, you don't look like, really what they're saying is, you don't look like the Greek god that I expect. And I go, in my mind, I'm going, first of all, you've been poisoned by social media and all the AI garbage. And secondly, why do I have to start? The funny thing is how did I get into this whole vitamin A thing and toxic bile and all that stuff? The people who I learned about this from, did I even know what they looked like at the start? Do I need to know what somebody looks like to evaluate their work? I don't. Other people with, what might be said to be less and lower intelligence levels are going to try to filter it however they can. And they go, look good or look bad. Is good or bad. But really what I say is go and look at my videos from 4 or 5 years ago on this channel and look at how I've changed. Then people, as you're saying, Dragonfly, then people can judge whether this is a good thing or not. As an example, go look at Saladino compared to 5 years ago, or when Saladino first started. When Saladino first started, he looked really good. Like he had good tissue to his face, and now he's looking gaunt. And if you watch him move, those of you who understand how people move, he moves like an old man in like 5 or 6 years. And now he's going back to becoming an omnivore again. He posted about meat and potatoes on his Twitter the other day. Maybe he's going away from all these high vitamin A tropical fruits now because he already stopped eating liver. But and actually somebody on Twitter said that a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of the influencers are now starting to talk about the liver and toxicity. So make sure if you're out there on social media and people are saying, oh, it's this, and they start talking about the things that I do, that I've been talking about, make sure to make them aware of me so that they can get it right from the horse's mouth, the leader and not the followers. And then watch how none of the people out there taking this work will give me credit. We already know the good ones. The good ones are out there. Do I mind if people use my work or use the ideas? No. But if they want to say where they got the idea from, that's appreciated. I've been doing that ever since I started. I have always done that. So, Dragonfly said, watch your interview with Terrain Theory. They interviewed T Sage. Something else to consider here. I don't know who that is. So you guys know, I don't really follow anybody. People tell me I should go follow other people, and I go, well, okay, I understand that, and I got here by not following anybody. That's sometimes I wish I had more mentors in my life, and then sometimes I go, well, that would probably have made me trust them, like everything they said as being the word, and then I might have avoided talking about stuff. Like a lot of people, you guys need to watch out for this. Is if you go and you do chat GPTs or you do this stuff and you just believe automatically what it spits out, that is normie stuff. That is NPC stuff. It's going to spit out what it wants you to think. So if you're going to ask AI questions, you need to go into it saying, this could be completely wrong. And if you just take it and like the dumbasses on Twitter will just copy paste Grok or whatever, and they'll be like, you're wrong. And I'm like, you get blocked because you obviously can't think enough to even begin to comprehend this work. So like, don't post AI summaries on my stuff. If you want to go normie, go somewhere else. If you want to be a normie and get the normie results and the alternative normie influencer type stuff, like when they're telling you to drink out of copper cups and copper water bottles, wear copper infused clothing or whatever. Now they're bringing back lithium orotate. Why are they bringing back lithium? Because everybody's losing it a little bit. Why is everybody losing it a little bit? Because they're toxic and deficient. Okay. Okay, Russ. Hello, Russ. Russ says, any suggestions for my intense leg pain every day? The magnesium is the only thing that makes it feel better, but it's still so painful. That would be something, I mean, if it's on a daily basis, there's a lot of places to start. The magnesium would tend to point towards it being something calcium. I would definitely actually, Russ, I would say, watch for the coming updates, the thing that I talked about today, because this may be something that connects a lot of the stuff where people are getting better in many ways or even most ways. And then there's these couple of things that are hanging out that are not resolving, because I'm always looking for ways to improve the program. If anybody ever thought that like this whole evolution of this program is over, it's never been over. But yeah, I don't have anything right off the top of my head. I mean, if it felt like, I don't know. Let's just do the thing that I just wait until I get the thing out. And I will let everybody know when the updates are in the Love Your Liver program. I haven't had time to work on it because, I was in Idaho visiting Kelsey, and I was not, I had other things on my mind. We'll put it that way. Oh, crap. Moto J said he ended up having his gallbladder removed last month, and he says now things are worse. FML. Man, I'm sorry. We tried to help Moto J a lot for a long time, both working with me and in the Love Your Liver program and on his own. He worked his butt off to try to do this. So sadly, we didn't figure out what the answer was. Now, Moto J, I don't know if you've tried. One of the things I've recently learned about that seems to help gallbladders a lot is malic acid. You can get it for food additive, so you can buy it like from food supply stores. You can get food grade malic acid, and you can experiment with that. I'm working on potassium malate. I'm working on bringing a supplement of potassium malate out. You heard it here first. Don't email Julie. I haven't even asked for a quote from the manufacturer yet, so don't ask Julie. But yeah, so that's where, like he said, he got his gallbladder removed, and now things are worse. Here's going to be an interesting thing, Moto J, and this is one thing that some people like that I'm open to, and some people, some people don't. You may have something very energetic, woo-woo, whatever you want to call it, in that area or whatever's going on there. The other thing you might look up the tooth meridian that is connected to the gallbladder. Okay, so go look up the acupuncture tooth meridian that there may be one or more that are connected to the gallbladder. And if you have stuff going on in the tooth that is connected there, I would really highly suggest that you talk to Dr. Kamastra or find some way to get that tooth really examined and see if there's a cavitation underneath it or an infection underneath it. Or if that's a root canal tooth, oh my gosh. Watch the Dr. Kamastra episode and get, if you figure out what you're going to do about it. This could be it. So then, and then there may be energetic stuff. Like you could look into body talk. You could look into all sorts of other types of therapy, like more of the woo-woo alternative things that are connecting the energetic things. I've done a lot of them in the past. Not all of them helped me, but some of them, when they did help me a lot. So okay, so going on, JJ Hempcrete Bear says pork is not even food according to the word. Folks, there's always going to be people who argue that pork is totally fine and okay with you if it's fed right. I'm going to point out an interesting pattern. So I didn't show there was an Instagram thing, and a lot of so these are just two interesting patterns. So they're really like the one world religion, right, is trying to bring together the Jews and the Muslims and Christians, mainly Catholics. Now, somebody showed on Instagram the other day in a lot of new Bibles that a certain passage, a certain verse from, I believe it was Matthew, was removed that talked about fasting and prayer as being necessary for the healing of a certain condition. Okay. What's the one group of those three that doesn't really fast anymore? The non-Catholic Christians. Interesting thing, right? And then there is the pork thing. Which groups are still told to avoid pork? The Muslims and the Jews. Which group was given a thing saying, all the old laws of Leviticus are gone. You can just eat whatever you want now, which includes pork. I'm just pointing out the patterns. So I'm not here to get into some deep dive biblical thing. But it's funny that both doing fasting and eating pork have kind of been removed from modern Christianity. And which group do I think might be under attack in various ways? Yeah. So just some patterns that I've observed. Now, am I saying that fasting is the fix to everything? No. Do I think that fasting could help spiritually? Do I think a certain amount of fasting could help with resetting your appetite, making people feel a little more resilient to not starve? One of the biggest things I think in America is one of the reasons I think one of the many reasons I think people are overweight is because we're scared to death of starving. The more you have of something, the more you get afraid of not having it. Just like rich people, the biggest thing rich people are afraid of is losing all their money. People who have way too much food around are scared to death of starving. Do you see the pattern? The people who exercise too much are scared to death of losing their fitness. So these are patterns. And so we see that. So I don't think fasting is the cure to everything, or people would already be doing it all the time, right? If you fast all the time, what's that's called? It's called death by starvation. So there's a certain amount of it that could be very, very useful. Probably, I don't know what that amount is, but also avoiding pork, I think is important. And I just see those patterns that I just mentioned. So, Moj says, honestly, chicken seems just as questionable as pork. I'm going to tell you folks something like, okay, first of all, we've got the price of food and gas is getting outrageous. And then obviously the price of gas is going to impact the price of food. Here's going to be the big deal, folks. And we're talking about the world situation right now, is if you get too picky about your foods, or if you literally say, now, would we love to eat organic? Well, yeah, now I just find out they spray organic crops with copper sulfate and there's, other toxins in a lot of the fertilizers they're using. If you make your diet too restrictive, I mean, let's say you live in a place where like they literally stop having organic food. What are you going to do? If you're like, well, I'll only eat organic food, and then you get to starve. That's not the goal either. So we're going to have to, as the prices keep going up, and I'm going to tell you the selection of things is going to go down. I don't know if it's happening other places, but if you go into Trader Joe's, like the shelves are getting like half as full as they used to be. I don't know if that pattern is going on elsewhere, but I've seen it in multiple ones in my neighborhood, in my area. So there's stuff going on, and we all know that they love their shortages. So yeah, what I'm saying is that if, like, let's say if at some point you had to choose, because you don't have, let's say the financial situation is such that you have to choose non-organic meats or whatever over organic or grass-fed or whatever, because you still have to eat, literally. If you have to make those hard choices, I'm never going to judge you because of the hard choices that you had to make in the situation. So I do want people, I'm saying this to out there, everybody's got different situations, and the financial, they're creating the financial situation here. And it's going to affect everybody. I mean, what's the best way to get everybody to drive an electric car? Make gas too expensive. What might they be doing right now? Making gas too expensive. So then everybody has to drive a hybrid car. There's deep plans to all of this. It gets really obvious. If you think it's all just like, if you think what's going on in the world political stage is real, this work's probably not for you. So, but yeah, I'm going to keep eating chicken. I don't eat a ton of it, but I'm still going to keep eating it. Matt Stone was one of the first guys who I talked to where I was like, I don't eat pork. And he's like, dude, pork was one of the first things I realized. I think it made his asthma worse, but it also made him super tired. And I was like, yeah, pork makes me feel worse. Doesn't matter what it doesn't matter if it's organic, doesn't matter whatever. It's just, it makes me feel worse. And when you think of pork fat is different than all the other fats. Like, think about cleaning pork fat off of things. It's nasty. It covers your sponge. Like, your sponge then puts pork fat on everything else. Like, pork fat is different. And then it leaves that slime film of fat on things. Pork fat is different. Pork grows parasites like no other meat animal, like literally in their muscles. So there's something wrong with pork. You want to eat pork? One of the biggest haters of this approach eats pork all the time. And she probably wonders why she's so angry and irritable. She blames the copper, which is probably a problem, but the pork consumption, the pork rinds, and oh gosh, so angry she is. Anyway, okay. Baptized in Fire said, thank you for everything, Doc. You are very welcome. Okay. Baptized in Fire said, fat people are lucky. Baptized in Fire, I think I remember you saying you're an undertype. Yeah, remember, I mean, the benefit, folks, of being overweight, the big benefit in terms of how your body is helping you not die, is your body is making this fat tissue to store your toxins. And so you're keeping it out of the bloodstream. So two things about undertypes is they're not very good at their body, for whatever reason, toxicity, whatever, is not making. Oh, there's the Dr. Kamastra live stream if you need it, Moto J. Underweight types are not making tissue to store toxins in very well. So more of it is floating around in their system, and they tend to have more symptoms because they can't do that. And this is why some people at the start of the program, the undertypes, often need to eat some more fat than the overtypes, partially for calories, but partially also we're giving them literally fatty acids to store toxins with so that they can get them out of their blood. I'm not saying this is a good thing. Like overweight people, the last thing you guys need is more fat. You've already made a lot of it. You're fine at making fat. You don't need extra fat in your diet. You make it. Underweight types could potentially use a little bit more fat in their diet, both to help, their calories and to help store away some of the toxins so it gets it out of their blood so that they're suffering less. So this is why, again, this is like the fishing analogy or the car analogy. Different cars, different makes and models of cars. It's the same road. It's the same type of engine, but we got to tweak them a little bit. Different types of oil, if we want to use the fat analogy, and different amounts of oil. Okay, just a passerby asked, how much fat is enough to fulfill all of the health benefits of fat? If you're eating muscle meat and not just, okay, so what have I seen in people in the program? I have seen a woman who was doing no added fats and only chicken breast. She started to get dry skin. She started to get symptoms of theoretically a fat deficiency. So I talked to her about it and I said, well, just try a tablespoon of fat, of oil, whatever type you want to add. And she did, and it got rid of all the problems that she had. So she was on almost a zero fat diet. She was on a zero added fat diet and an extremely low intake of fat from probably just the chicken breast. And we fixed her fat deficiency with a tablespoon of fat a day, and tablespoons of fat are either 14 or 16 grams of fat. So that is my best answer. Somewhere around 15 grams of total fat intake a day is probably enough to get you to not have a outright fat deficiency. There was, I need to find the research. There was a questionnaire online. It was for MDs, and they were talking about when they gave, I think it was mice, a completely fat-free diet. And the mice, they started having their hair was having issues. Their skin was having issues. They were having all these issues. And they said all they had to do to fix the issues, they just gave the animals literally plant foods that had not been processed with the fats and oils of the plants in the food. They weren't giving them avocado. They're talking about, like normal plant foods that they might give mice and rats. They just gave them that, and the amount of fat that was in that fixed all of the fat deficiency symptoms. Now, I'm not saying that's enough for people, but it gives you an idea that the idea that people need to eat gobs of fat to be healthy. Well, when you think of the mainstream now, the Maha is now talking about like eating tallow, and like French fries are good for you if they're cooked in tallow. That's deep frying things. Let me help you with health stuff here, everybody. Deep frying anything is not good for you. It doesn't matter what kind of fat it's in. Could it be less bad? Maybe. But then the tallow, do you think that these big restaurant chains are getting tallow from like grass-fed organic cows? Or are they figuring out a way? How can they sell us? Oh, and just so you know, the Vital Proteins brand of collagen that some of you may be taking for protein, it's owned by Nestle now. And I believe Tamara Rubin did some testing of the Vital Proteins collagen, and all sorts of nastiness came up. Weird that it's owned by Nestle, and chocolate and toxicity. If it's sold in Costco, which Vital Proteins is, you should be very suspicious of it. I'm not saying all stuff in Costco is bad, but if it's sold in Costco, you should initially be very suspicious. Remember how Costco acted during the COOF. Costco was fully on board. with everything they wanted them to do for the coof. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh, wait. It scrolled too far. Oh, Hound Jog said me and Kelsey. Yes. I mean, yes, I was giving Kelsey lots of props when I was seeing her. I was telling her she was my she's my superstar person. Yes, we had a really great visit. Yes, and I wanted to say again, I think I don't know if I've talked about this, but guys, I'm just leave women out of this. Like ladies, I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to guys. So I'm not trying, ladies, if you want to try to dogpile on this, you're not helping. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say to you guys out there who want to have a better relationship or you want to have a relationship that works. Here's what I'm going to tell you. This is something that I learned that Kelsey helped me to discover through the things she sent me. And I took it just like with a lot of things. I find out about the vitamin A toxicity idea and I take it and I run with it and then I do stuff with it. She was telling me some things. And one of the things that I learned through this is, okay, men, we will study our career, our profession. We will put hours and hours into studying it and learning about it. And we will put often hours and hours of studying and learning and experiencing into our hobbies. How many hours have you put into learning how to be a good partner in a relationship? And being in the relationship doesn't fix it. Like that'd be like saying going to the weight room teaches you how to lift weights. No, it doesn't. Going and being in something doesn't teach you how to do it better because usually you just keep doing the same things wrong. You just keep repeating the same wrong things. So when I heard about that and I went and I thought about my relationship and we were having, I was having some issues myself. Kelsey had some issues herself, but Kelsey she figured out her stuff on her own. She's brilliant. And she helped me to figure out that, but that whole idea, I just want you to think about that. Like and guys, let's say you go out and you learn how to do dating. Cause when I got divorced, I spent a lot of money on learning how to date. None of what I was learning was helping me to learn how to be a better partner in a relationship, which was what I wanted. So what I'm saying, guys, is if all the things you think of that you've spent money on and time, energy, and money, and if you have a lot of issues in relationships, don't just blame the other person. That gets you nowhere. That's not taking responsibility. It's funny that one of the biggest things that men out there claim is that women don't take responsibility and accountability, and that may be true. But also, the only person you can change is yourself, gentlemen. The only person you can change is yourself. So where should you be focusing your energy on? That person's changing or you changing? So again, if you spent tons of hours and time and energy working on your career, and you spent tons of hours and time and energy working on your hobby, and you have spent little to no time or energy or money on learning how to be a better partner in a relationship, and your relationships have not worked out the way you want, put some time and energy and money into that. Because that's the only thing you can fix. And you will likely hold on. There we are. Joe, did you do that? No. The bad guys are trying to cut off my relationship advice. No, I'm kidding. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because it's been super helpful for Kelsey and I. And we even put together, like we literally assembled a bed. Like we put together a loft bed and I helped her fix her bathroom, the floor and the toilet. But she was doing that already herself. And as we joke, like the test of a relationship is putting together stuff, like putting IKEA furniture together, right? If you can do that with your partner and everybody stays cool, then you're doing pretty well. Well, we had a really good time doing that. There was a little bit of slipping up. on my part where I got a little frustrated because there was a little bit of a leak and I was really anxious about the floor and I got a little irritated, but got out of it quick. So again, when you're less toxic, you can tend to get out of these things faster, but also some of the things I've been learning have helped me to sit with that feeling and fix it. But anyway, so I want to say we all have to work together to fix the male-female divide. Remember, the biggest division they could make is not by race or by other things. The biggest division they can make that is the most important for their plans is to divide men and women. That's their biggest division point. How's that going for them? Well, if you go on social media, it's working really, really well. So can you find good people out there? Yes, there are still good people of both genders out there. How can you keep them? You can work on yourself. That's the only person that you can work on. Sergio said, is bread better than charcoaled white rice? Love you. I'd say if I had to put a value judgment on that, because if the white rice is prepared properly, like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how good. Sometimes Kelsey just amazes me in the kitchen. She made rice several times and it was just in a pot with extra water. So I was like, how much rice did you put in there? She's like, I don't know. Like, how much water did you put in there? I don't know. And she just put the rice in and filled up the pot and boiled it. And I said, how long did you cook that for? And she's like, till it's done. And I was like, my brain, my pattern brain and my like systems brain was like grinding to a halt. I was like, I can't, what? Like I could cook meat in a pan and be like, I don't know, you just cook it till it's done. You just look at it. But like rice, everybody's like, you need a cup of water to a cup of rice and you cook it for 8 minutes. And I'm like, okay. But she was doing the excess water and then she just picked it up off the stove and poured it into a strainer and then shook it around a little bit, got the extra water out, put it back in the same pan. And I was like, this rice is amazing. And it wasn't mushy. So if you're cooking water in excess rice, folks, it does not have to be mushy. Just don't cook it so long, or figure out what amount of time to cook it. No, I don't have the number there because Kelsey just. Oh, we just lost it too. I don't know. I see. Oh, but okay. So Sergio, if you have like good flour and I mean, first of all, okay, so let's go backwards to the bread. Charcoaled white rice. Cook the white rice properly, folks. If you're not going to do the rice prep methods, you probably need to get Lotus Foods rice. And then people will say, but Lotus Foods white rice is too expensive. Okay, then you need to buy cheaper rice and cook it with the excess water techniques or the other techniques that I talk about in the rice and arsenic episode. You can soak your white rice in charcoal if you want to soak it before you cook. So if you want to soak the white rice in charcoal at least 20 minutes, stir it a couple times during that will get rid of most of the arsenic too. But charcoaled white rice, I don't know that you need to eat the charcoal with the white rice. If you want to eat the charcoal with the white rice, that's fine. I do think that would generally be better than bread. But if you're doing like good flour bread, if you were even going as far as home milling the grain, and then if you made it into sourdough, I mean, I couldn't argue with any of that. But because you got the white rice and you've got the charcoal, I would have to give that the upper hand. Okay. We got a super chat. So thank you for the super chat, Sergio. And I see you have another one. We'll get to that in a second. Christina Sophia said, I lost all cartilage in my left hip this year, probably wear and tear from dancing, maybe years of hiking. Osteoarthritis in right hip doesn't bother me. How to prevent the degeneration of the right hip? Can osteoarthritis, if you mean osteoarthritis, can that be reversed? Yes. Wear and tear from, so, okay. One of the things I talk about where we think we're losing cartilage, or where the orthopods, the orthopedic surgeons, they look at our images and they say, your cartilage has, it's bone on bone. Okay. When you look at, let's say, a knee, which has cartilage, so you have the knee, right? And it's got a cartilage layer here and a cartilage layer here, right? The meniscus. And there's this joint space. And what they will say as they watch, over the years, as they get their x-rays and they watch the joint space shrink, right? The joint space shrinks. And they'll say that your cartilage is wearing away. Is it? Or think about this. There's usually bone spurs in the same areas, right? So there's calcification going on. There's excess calcification going on. What if literally, so you got this layer of cartilage. What if that from the bone side up is literally calcifying and turning into bone? Just like a bone spur would go out from the bone and it calcifies out from the bone. What if it's the cartilage turning into bone? So then when they look at it on the x-ray, as the cartilage on each layer turns into literal bone, the bone gets closer together because the bones are literally getting bigger. That's a little bit different idea as opposed to somebody being a victim of, well, your cartilage is just gone. It just wore away and now it's gone. Cartilage, they literally say, is like ice on ice, slippery. So at what point does it start? What would make ice on ice get rougher? If that's what happened. Well, putting literally calcium crystals in it would start to make it rougher. Or what if that cartilage literally calcified and became bone itself? Then people would be asking very different questions. Instead of just suddenly not having cartilage one day, it would be, how do we stop the calcification of the soft tissues? And that's what we do. So, now some damage, like my left knee meniscus, I have a small tear in my left knee meniscus. And even with all the nutrition and diet stuff and the physical approaches that I've done, like I have an amazing full squat, I have good arches. Like I don't have any of the reasons why that meniscus necessarily, that I know of, that, well, I mean, I used to have lots more movement stuff issues in my past. But anyway, between the diet and the detox and all that stuff, and after I can't do jujitsu ever again. I tried doing it a couple times and I just can't with the knee, but I'm 99% functional and completely out of pain in that knee. Is that meniscus, that little last part of that tear, ever going to fix itself? No, I don't believe it will. I'm still open to it, but I don't expect it to. So the only thing I have to not do is not fully deep. If I go into a full deep squat, which is still totally fine, I don't come out of it myself. I'll sit on the ground and open my knee that way. And then my knee doesn't clunk. If I stand up out of a deep squat, my knee audibly clunks. So I just don't do that. I can tell you that the clunk has gotten less and less quiet, more and more quiet. And it doesn't hurt after I do it too many times. If I end up accidentally doing it a couple times because I'm trying new things in my workout or something, it doesn't hurt like it used to. So it's much, much, much better. But the clunk is still present. But I've just adjusted around it and I've made it a lot better. But I mean, it did take like 5 prolo therapy sessions. So anyway, back to, can osteoarthritis be reversed? I absolutely believe so. Yes. If you had you say you had your hip replaced? Okay, so you haven't had it replaced yet. Okay, so we get into a couple things here. Can osteoarthritis be reversed? I believe it can. Now, you would want to work on movement patterns because, okay, so joints especially go bad when the joint above or below the one that's in question is not moving the way it's supposed to. So you get the joint in the middle moving in ways that it wasn't designed for, or taking on more stress in directions that it wasn't designed to. Like that's why knees tend to go bad, is because if, let's say, your ankle joint or your hip joint is not moving like it should, your knee then is trying to move in ways that it wasn't designed for, and then it wears out in ways that it wasn't meant to. So I would definitely, the two things that you might consider, I mean, obviously keep doing the Love Your Liver stuff. Number 2 would be if you wanted to accelerate the healing now that you're on doing the Love Your Liver stuff, or you've been doing that for a while, you might look into finding the best PRP guy or prolotherapy person in your area. That's what I did for my knee. And first prolo session got me like 90% out of the pain I was having, because I had tried to do jujitsu and my knee was not going to handle it at that point. I still had the injury, but jujitsu just like put it over the edge. And I tried it one more time after that. Or did I try it 3 times? I don't remember if I tried jujitsu like 3 times, and every time my knee was just like, don't ever do this again. And then I finally learned. So yeah, I would work on movement capability, mobility, stability in there, and then consider to heal it faster, or to get back to the point where it's in less pain. PRP, which is platelet rich prolotherapy. And you can find somebody in your area probably who does ultrasound guided PRP. If you're older, here's kind of the progression of prolotherapy. Prolotherapy itself is an injection of a dextrose solution and some anesthetic, like I believe they use Procaine, into the joint or into the area that needs the healing. And this is pretty much does best in younger people because their healing is working better. PRP, platelet rich prolotherapy, is where they take your own blood, they spin it, they take out the platelet rich part at the top, and then they literally are injecting your own parts of your own blood, your platelets and other stuff like that, the growth factors, into your problem area. Now that's for like the middle-aged people. And then as people tend to get older and older, or their health is really crappy, then you get into the I forget what they call it, but it's literally bone marrow, the stem cell injection. Now these are your own stem cells. What I'm talking about is they would actually put you under, I believe, and drill into your pelvis and pull out bone marrow. And then they would get the stem cells out of that and inject those into the area. So as an example, the last time I heard prices on this stuff, Prolo was about $600. PRP was about $1,200 a session, and the stem cell stuff was about $6,000. So my daughter, with her knee, she hurt her meniscus too. It took did we do 2 sessions? I think we did 2 sessions of prolotherapy, 1 or 2. And then she did some PT to learn to get muscle education and all that stuff like that. And then now her knee is good. So anyway, Joe says we've been getting lots of glitches, and we may be having some space weather right now. So that could be what's causing the glitches if you saw it. But anyway, so the PRP, I would go and talk to get multiple opinions from multiple, Prolo PRP people in your area and see what they say, and then work on the physical movement patterns around it. And then what was the last thing I was going to say? I don't know, plenty of magnesium, lots of magnesium lotion, maybe twice a day, maybe 3 times a day, over the hip, front and back. So you'd be hitting your hip flexor area and your glutes to get the calcium deposits out of there. And then just working on the program. So that's what I would do. That's what I did. Oh, Joe's showing the mag lotion. There it is. Dragonfly said, having found you and not having a true issue, I follow this diet and I'm so happy. That's great. Baptized in Fire said the Sanskrit word, I don't know how to say this word, beda, BHEDA, describes being different and yet also not different. Oh yeah, an Oxalate Warrior added auto brewery syndrome. That's what I was talking about. Getting drunk from one's internal yeast overgrowth. Yes, that's people have that literally. And then Christina and Sophia said that's so right on what I said about viruses. David said the saying, the best revenge is to live a good life. That's what we're all trying to do here, right? For all the people who are like, that can't work. You guys are crazy. Somebody on Twitter, some MD on Twitter called me an idiot this morning. I was like, must be a sad life to really not help people that much on a daily basis. And then to be toxic and not know why they're toxic, and then just to be angry on Twitter. Okay. Luca said, Dear Dr. Smith, I wish to ask you kindly where you can post a testimonial, as I am not yet on the Love Your Liver because I'm saving my little money. My parents abandoned me when I was young. I can't afford it. Yeah. You could email, if you have a testimonial, you could email Julie at admin@nutritiondetective.com. So ADMIN @nutritiondetective.com. Or you can also send it to Melissa at Melissa, MELISSA w@nutritiondetective.com. So that would be the best thing. And then Lucas said, but I follow you thoroughly and admire sincerely all your work and wish to present a testimonial for your work. Thank you again for all your work. You are very welcome. And thank you for sending that in. Folks, your testimonials are what will get people to believe. Do the work yourself first, get yourself better, and then you are literally a walking testimonial. But if you don't tell anybody about it, nobody knows. So let me try to troubleshoot some of this for some of you. If you're going to post on social media or something about this, don't go out and tell everybody first what they should do, because when people are told what to do, they resist it. We all do this. Present that. Let's say you're on a reel or something somewhere on social media and somebody says, this is caused by this. And you're like, no, it's not. You might say, I had this issue. I fixed it by doing very specific things. And then you'll have people in the comments go, what did you do? Like you're baiting them. You're baiting them to ask you. It's something you can also do in arguments, or you could, if you're having a debate or an argument with somebody, and let's say, or your partner comes to you with a problem. And instead of like what a lot of us men do is we just give advice right away, right? You could say, what would you be interested if I had a suggestion of something you might do? And then when they say yes, not only have you gained permission to contribute what you want to contribute, but they have literally shut off the part of their brain that is resisting. They've literally said, yes, I would like to hear what you have to say. They're asking you for it. So it totally shifts the whole energy around it from like, I'm trying to force my advice on you into, would you like for me to give you something that I thought you might do? And then they are actually literally asking you for it. This is the kind of stuff that, you can learn, and it just helps shift the whole situation. So anyway, Stephanie said that menopause comment was mine. At the end of that, I should have said, thank you, Dr. Smith. So just verification. Yes, these are real testimonials, folks. Dave Koch says, I fired 2 of my 5 doctors this year. One was a GI doctor that under his care, I was hospitalized twice. Oof. Yeah, I had, this was before I was doing all this stuff, but I once had a gastroenterologist's wife come to me for help, and I did help her. And she had gut issues. So, I mean, first of all, folks, it's really hard to help your family directly. I am very blessed in that my mom will listen to me, and my brother does seem to take some of my advice pretty well. And Kelsey obviously found me, so she does this stuff. And because I don't force it on my kids, like literally some people might be like, wait, you let your kids have soda sometimes? And I'm like, yeah, because you know what teenagers will do if you tell them what they can and can't have? What do they want more than anything? They want the bad thing. And so like my son is becoming a little gym bro. He's my little gym buddy. I am so blessed. My son goes to the gym. He's interested. And because I don't push these things on him, I just kind of said like, oh yeah, I like doing this stuff in the gym because after all my years of finding out, what hurts me and what makes me feel better and what makes me feel tight and what makes me feel stronger. I'm like, yeah, this is what I do now. I said, if you ever want to know more about it, just come and ask me. And he's doing the more of the machines and stuff like that. And, but he's coming around because I'm not forcing it on him. You force things on people, or you tell them what they should do and they don't want to do it. They purposely resist. It's normal. But then, as you know, when they read something on social media from somebody else who's totally unrelated to you, they'll be like, this person did this and it was amazing, and I'm going to try this new diet, because it's proximity bias. The people around you, we tend to not think they don't know anything, but somebody on the internet, random person that they've never met before, knows everything. It's sad, but it's true. So anyway, not forcing things on people helps a lot, especially your partner. Oh yeah, Sergio's second comment. Niacin, smaller doses a day or a big dose all at once? They both work. I am kind of doing both now. And let me say this for you folks. I haven't seen all the research that Kelsey has, but Kelsey says she has tons of research showing that a small dose of flush niacin is super helpful for lots of things. Like, we're talking like the 25 milligram pills that we make. That kind of dose has been shown to be super helpful for lots of things. You do not need tons of flush niacin. Now, there is like the whole like flush niacin at high doses, like has destroyed every other cholesterol lowering drug while making people healthier and have less heart disease and live longer and all that stuff. So can high doses be fine too? Are high doses at once fine? Yes. Oh, there we go. Joe's putting up the picture. And the Niasoda, for you folks who are waiting for it, are our exclusive pre-buffered flush niacin. So you guys don't have to buffer it anymore. In 100 milligram and 250 milligram capsules. The manufacturer has the labels now. The labels have arrived. So they just have to put it in capsules and get the labels on it, and they should be shipping it. Don't email Julie. It doesn't make it come any faster. And don't ask me when we'll have it, because I don't know. I don't control the shipping. I don't control anything about how fast they make it. So even if I knew when they had it made, I don't know how long it's going to take to get shipping. So it's coming. So we'll have the 25 milligram regular flush niacin. We will have the 100 milligram Niasoda, which was named that after Kelsey's old Niasoda product. And we'll have a 250 milligram Niasoda pill, because we couldn't make it 500 and put the buffer in there, because it would have been like a bigger pill than 1,000 milligram ascorbic acid pill. So for those of you who've seen like the giant capsules, like the super horse capsules, it would have been like bigger than that. So I couldn't do that. Julie said the last thing we need, Julie says people bitch about the size of capsules all the time. And she would know, she answers the emails. And she was like, do not do like an even bigger capsule. I was like, okay, we won't. We do this for you guys. And yeah, there's plenty of us out there, like I'm one of them included. I can take huge pills. I could take 50 pills at a time in one swallow, or like, 1 or 2 swallows of water. It's not a problem for me, but many of you aren't like that. And can you will you be able to open the Niasoda capsules and just put them in water? Yeah, if that's what you want to do. So, okay. Oh, Luca was saying, thank you for your dedication. Sincerely from Italy. Yes, we are worldwide. Stephanie said, schizophrenia runs in my family too. My mom has 8 brothers and sisters, and 5 of 9 of them were diagnosed. Most of them, as they aged, got more toxic. My grandmother was certifiable too. So there is like, well, let me just do another example for you guys. ALDH, aldehyde dehydrogenase, what I consider the most important detox enzyme pathway in the body. It's known that in 50% of the Asian population that they are genetically slow in ALDH. Okay, so if vitamin A goes through ALDH. If vitamin A toxicity was part of schizophrenia or other mental conditions or whatever it was, that could be part of why. That could be part of that population's issue with it. I think a slow ALDH actually tends to lead towards alcoholism, and what you want to think about Asians and that is up to you. But one of the funny things that I always thought about vitamin A and aldehydes and detox was that Asians don't really want to eat dairy that much. And I think now Asia is getting a lot more dairy, and Asia seems to be catching up in obesity. They're also getting a lot more sugar. Sugar makes aldehydes. Sugar and dairy are coming on in the Asian area, and they're starting to have many, many more problems with obesity. So, coincidence or not, I'm not saying anything about disease rates over there. They do tend to have a lot more gastric cancer and esophageal cancer, which have both been linked to the slow ALDH. So, but yeah, genetics is a real thing. So if you see like, okay, so I know Parkinson's, I think my mom said she's had 2 relatives with Parkinson's, and my mom has Parkinson's-like syndrome. I know my mom's Parkinson's-like syndrome came on from living on a golf course, like literally living on a golf course. And the pesticides that they sprayed there, we would see on the days they sprayed the pesticides, her symptoms would get worse. Okay. Did I live there for a year? Did I live there? No, I just went there during my work days for a year or 2 to spend time with my mom because my dad had passed away. Anyway, I was like, we got to get you out of this house. And we finally did. So might I have some genetic weakness from my mom's side towards a Parkinson's pattern? Sure, why not? So then what should I be working on? Well, obviously I want to work on my detox, but if you haven't looked up manganese and Parkinson's, that's a big connection. Pesticides and Parkinson's, and then they specifically talk about the pesticides that slow ALDH. Gosh, do I work on my ALDH a lot? Yeah. So am I doing things that in theory, and for those of you who have, schizophrenia runs in your family and you're fixing the mental conditions you have now, then does it make sense that your risk of having that issue is way, 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 way down? Yes. So for me, is it likely that mine is, and also aluminum. You want to avoid aluminum for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Generally your brain doesn't want aluminum. You don't want to turn into an antenna. And we have a new thing that we'll talk about in terms of antennas and batteries, which is what they want to make us into. Antennas and batteries. So, Eliza said that excellent breakdown on war/blame/germ victim mentality is worthy of a clip to be shared with the Truth is the Contagion or other small clip sharing groups. Chef's kiss. I'll make it. I'll put it out. I'll see what Opus Clips does with it. I'll see if I can't do that. And for those of you who aren't following, we'll go over the links, but I've been putting out a lot more shorts and reels. So for those of you who watch those things, I don't think they're great for our brain. All the short content is not great for our brain, but it gets people to watch and hopefully look into the whole thing. But yeah, we're on. I'm posting them. I'm posting the shorts to TikTok, our Instagram. I don't post it to Facebook because they don't have an easy posting thing. I post it to LinkedIn. LinkedIn's such a joke. I could care less. And then I post it to Twitter. So five places. So we'll go over those in a second. Okay. Dragonfly says, I'm looking in the mirror and finding the LYL program is true for me too. As in like making you look better. That's what I'm guessing. T Sage is using the moon cycle to energize the sacred secretion to go up the spine, and he is seeing his body inside now. Well, that's interesting. Okay, Lucas says pain equals nerve hypoxia. I mixed Dr. Smith's program and Dr. Perry Nicholson for more structural problems, and they both work together, and they are perfect. I think I think I've mentioned this before. I went to one of Dr. Nicholson's seminars for like practitioners, and it was his primal movement type stuff. And I thought it was all awesome, but then I was going, it just wasn't put together in a way that I could apply it to people. And I was mainly looking for it for myself. And I honestly couldn't come out of it with a way that I could apply it to myself. It seemed like, so this is his stuff for teaching other people how to work with other people. That stuff seemed like over my head. And there's lots of health things out there, where the person who comes up with it, this is like Z Health with Dr. Eric Cobb. I took that too. I took a ton of that. And people would say they'd try to fix stuff the way that Dr. Cobb said, and they couldn't fix somebody. And then they'd take the person to Dr. Cobb and he'd work with them a little bit and he'd be like, oh, it's this weird thing that I haven't taught you guys yet. And everybody would be like, well, what are we supposed to do? Like, we feel kind of impotent. Like we have these solutions that don't work as commonly as we're told. And then we have to go to the creator of the thing to fix them. This is what I'm priding myself in, is teaching people how to look for these things and to figure them out. And then they're figuring out themselves, or maybe they're one of the really rare kind of atypical problems, but they still are able to figure it out because now they're in touch with their body and they're paying attention. So anyway, Perry Nicholson stuff, the general population stuff, like the big six. And if he has a more general population, like the big six combined with like original strength, I think would be huge for people. I think we're going to, as I put it together, we're probably going to have, there's probably going to be some recommended approaches for, like, the Revive would be one of the things to help with the jaw and the skull and the dental stuff and the teeth and all that. Then there's going to be like the original strength, which is the basically from your neck to your ankles. And then I'm working on figuring out some other stuff for the ankle and foot stuff. Because if we can fix, I mean, just think about it, folks. Think about how people didn't used to have to look at those videos from the 70s of people, like the beach videos from the 70s. And you look at everybody and everybody looks pretty fit and pretty lean. And now you've got everybody, so many people in the health space doing all these weird exercises and doing all this crazy stuff. And you go, I don't have time for an hour or maybe 2 hours of exercise a day. Wait, I've got to walk 10,000 steps. I've got to do my mobility. I've got to do my flexibility. I got to do my strength training. People didn't used to live like this. So what if, here's the idea, like Ken will talk about, if we fix up here, a lot of other things fix themselves. If we fix the things that original strength does, which is our original movement patterns that we got as babies, the rocking and the rolling over and the head movement and the breathing and the cross crawl kind of stuff. And we fix that. And then we fix our feet, which, the Chinese say you die from the feet up. And we just address all of those. And what if all you had to do as like a basic program was just work and just make sure you were addressing each of those things in a good way. And then generally you could be pain-free and healthy and happy. And then your workout program can be just maintaining that. Or if you choose to go above and beyond it, then you could. I'm kind of, as I'm getting older, I'm 50 and I'm over the whole, like, you got to be swole and buff and like do all this stuff. Now I'm kind of going, not what is the minimum I can do, because I enjoy exercise. I enjoy it. Like I tend to have like a focus of a type of exercise for a while, but I try to maintain the stuff that keeps me healthy underneath it. And usually what I find is when I start obsessing about one type of exercise, I start failing in those other things that I've maintained. Like, let's say I went into powerlifting. Let's say I wanted to go into powerlifting, which I've already done. I don't need to do that again. But I go into powerlifting and then all of a sudden I start being like, I'm getting super tight. This sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. So then I stop. And then I go back to getting that back. And then I go and I do something else. So my goal is to, like, I look at literally those videos of, let's say, those Chinese parks and the playgrounds where there's these quite senior citizens doing crazy stuff. And I go, they're not in the gym squatting. They're not lifting heavy weights. They're doing body weight stuff. Do I care about having a huge squat when I'm 90? No. Would it be cool to be doing basic body weight stuff or even impressive body weight stuff when I'm 90? Yeah. If you can control your body, you can control weight. If you can control weight, that doesn't mean you can control your body. So that's where I'm always trying to simplify these things. And yeah, if you want to still lift weights and do other stuff, that's fine. As you start to feel better, you might start to notice certain ways that things make you not feel as good. Like if lifting weights makes you feel stiff and sore and achy all the time, and you're like, oh, I don't want to feel stiff and sore and achy all the time, then maybe you do a different type of exercise, right? I'm not saying weightlifting's bad. Like I'm still going to the gym with my boy and I'm doing stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out what is most sustainable and is actually moving me always towards better health rather than towards just like a better performance in some little niche area of fitness. But you can't be good at everything all the time. Okay. But yeah, Perry Nicholson stuff, I do like it a lot. Oh, we're at 2.5 hours. Oh yeah, we're almost to 1. I guess I didn't. There I go talking too much again. You guys enjoy it though. Okay, Heather Parker says, I believe the malic acid may be helping neurogenic bladder. Using it once daily appears to help more complete bladder emptying. Amazing. I think malic acid may end up being very helpful, and it just seems a lot of people were using this magnesium malate before, and the magnesium would limit the amount of malic acid you could get. So you can either do malic acid from malic acid, or you could do like potassium malate where people can take more and it doesn't necessarily cause diarrhea. That's what I've been doing, the potassium malate. So, or you can eat apples too. Okay, Moto J said, yeah, I've been taking capsules of malic acid. The tooth connected to my gallbladder was removed a while back. I'll keep looking into some woo-woo stuff. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Moto J says, I do mainly Granny Smith apples and beef. That's my wheelhouse right now. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry, let me see that one. Oh, wait, hold on. Joe, did I miss one? Let me do this last super chat. Sorry, Leon Chrysa Phenios. That might be, I don't know where the splits in the name is. So let me just do this one. Okay. Let me make sure. Oh, wow, I missed a couple super chats. Sorry about that. Sergio, I see the other one. How do I know how much calcium foods to give your kid? Generally, what we've been experimenting with. Now, so calcium is, okay, I cannot give a definitive answer to this. Because the RDA, like I could get in, my board might get mad at me if I say, don't take the RDA or calcium, or don't do it unless you benefit from it. So like the RDA is like 1,000 milligrams a day for adult males, I believe. It's somewhere around there. It's around 1 gram a day. Okay. What I kind of found was that for most people, it seems that if they do well with calcium, then they might need 500 milligrams a day. Some people, Kelsey was saying she tried increasing her calcium intake and she could hear her neck crunching when she did that. And so she stopped the calcium and her neck stopped crunching. I tried doing about 500 milligrams of calcium a day and I started feeling worse in certain ways. So if one wanted to try, so one of the things I do in terms of, it's a concept on how to dose children, which is you take the child. So if you're over in Europe and you're doing if you're doing metric stuff, you're going to have to convert this. It is, you take the child's body weight in pounds and divide it by 150. And then whatever that percentage is that you get, you would multiply that by the adult dose. So if, let's say you have a 50-pound child, 50 pounds divided by 150 would give us 0.33, a third. So then a 50-pound child would get a third of the adult dose. That is the concept. And I have used that fairly well. Is that medical advice? Is that what you guys should all do for your kids? No, that's what you do with anything I say here is on you. That's what I would do with my kids. My daughter's 17 now, so she's basically an adult, and she takes adult doses of like, she takes a Keystone Minerals each day. My boy is he just keeps getting bigger, man. I think he's like 140 pounds now. He's small for his age, but he's not everybody grows at the same rate. Definitely not everybody grows. Like, I was 6 feet tall at the start of high school, and then I stopped growing. So, the different growing rates of people are interesting. So, but how do you know how much calcium foods? I would, if you wanted to do that equation and apply it to 500 milligrams, that would be something that you could choose to do. Okay. Oh, I didn't see that Kelsey's here. Gem Fairy is here. Hi, Kelsey. Nice to see you. Okay. Leon said, I do all the LYL stuff, but I find Pygeum helps me with bile dumps the best. Do you know whether that is bad for your liver or not? I haven't looked. I mean, the last time I heard about Pygeum, it was all male prostate stuff. I have not looked into it in terms of this work at all. So I don't know what the mechanism would be. I have some, I'm going to wrap it up here. Some of the stuff we're about to dive into soon enough is going to be, there's going to be stuff that I think we're going to fix that. I lost what I meant to say with that. It relates to the whole idea of bile dumps. And it may change some of what people think are actual bile dumps to something else. My brain has been working overtime in connecting all this stuff. So it's really kind of cool, and it should help people feel better very quickly. So it's very cool. I'm very excited about it. I know all of you are probably like, oh my gosh, Dr. Smith, tell us about it right now. And I'm like, I'm experimenting on myself right now with it, and I have to confirm, and because as soon as you guys hear me talk about it, you'll want to know everything about it. And I'm not going to know everything about it yet, but it's going to be very well 80%, 90% laid out. So it's kind of exciting. I mean, it's very exciting because this could fix a lot of the things that people are having, that are the little residual things that are not going away, or even some people who have done the program for a little while and something went away and came back, or something new popped up that we aren't sure what it is. This is probably the answer to that. So we will be talking about that. Oh wow, there's a lot of yeah. Sorry, there was a lot more Joe, actually somebody asked. Okay, Joe, somebody asked how to contact you for the biofield tuning sessions. Oh, there you are. Hello.
I'm here. Let's see. My phone number is 262-806-8031. Or on Telegram, I'm Remedy Joe. My website thing is down for the time being. Let's see. Well, or they could go to josephwilliambaker.com. That's another website. Right. And I'm thinking maybe I'll jump in. I'll do a live stream right after this on YouTube. My channel is Remedy Report. So, youtube.com/Remedy Report. You might have to put an @ symbol in there.
Awesome.
But I'll meet some of you there after this show.
Joe, type those up, and I can send them to Telegram to me, and I'll put them in the info box.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, for those of Joe does some biofield, some sound. Yes, he does some cool stuff. I don't want to describe it because I don't want to say anything that it's not. So I'll let Joe go watch Joe's live stream at his YouTube, and I'm sure he'll take questions on those, Joe.
Well, yeah.
Live chat? Yeah.
There's the idea is that some of the traumas from the past, and I think there could be an ongoing slow trauma of the interaction, the interplay of the effects of retinoic acid on our body, and then there's also a trauma from a specific part of the body. I think that makes it weaker, and then that becomes a place that becomes more susceptible to these toxins. And there's some ideas that the toxins respond to the tuning fork in this practice called biofield tuning, and it's kind of like the tissue vibrates differently than the toxin does, so that they jar apart and get released. So then your stuff about using charcoal and soluble fiber, managing the bile flow, and trying to capture some of that toxicity is really important in the marriage of these two kind of concepts. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming out and showing yourself, Joe, and saying so. Yeah, I was looking at yes, Kelsey. I was looking for Kelsey's comments where she said hi to me. So yes, thanks for showing up, babe. And yeah, it's all very exciting right now. So yes, babe. Anyway, okay. So I got Joe and Kelsey on Telegram on my other screen. So okay, so yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up there, Joe. Let's work on the links, and then we'll wrap it up. And I pull off another 3-hour show, but yeah, keep an eye out for the live stream in hopefully next week, maybe if not the week after, will be this new stuff that we're talking about. So Joe posted it's youtube.com/@remedyreport. And then let's get into the other one. So for those of you who saw all these testimonials and you want to know where is this wonderful deposit of information where I can find all of that, that's the Love Your Liver program. Joe put the YouTube channel right here. That's where you are right now, most likely, youtube.com/nutritiondetective. The Love Your Liver program is members.nutritiondetective.com. That is where, if you want the fire hose of information and you don't want to have to, we have people who literally go through all of my live streams and they assemble most of the Love Your Liver program from all of my live streams. If you got the time and the energy, right? Something's either going to cost you time, or it's going to cost you money, or it's going to cost you energy. If you want to do the live streams and pay in time, you can do that. It's free. If you want to get it all like fire hose, then go to the Love Your Liver program. If you want to talk to other people without the distraction of all the other trolls on the internet, that you can find in the Love Your Liver program. So, okay, so that's my Twitter website, or my Twitter handle, x.com/NutriDetect. And then that's where I am posting shorts there too. Facebook.com, the.real nutrition detective. Don't look for shorts there because they don't make it easy. And I don't know. I'm so done with Facebook. The Revive Mouthguard, if you want to do one of these, I was using mine my entire, that was one of the few things I remembered to keep doing on my entire trip, was I kept using my mouth guard. I love the Revive mouth guards. We had Ken Lever on. We did a whole show about his Revive mouth guards, and I also did another show about how toxicity can rearrange your skull, like literally affect how your skull forms, and doing things like the Revive and maybe some other things that I'm learning about and mewing can help reshape your skull to how it was supposed to be. So yeah, let's keep going, Joe. We got the madnessofmodernnutrition.com. This is our email newsletter sign up. It is also our my mini course on basic concepts of the program and how it's different. So if you wanted to get the mini email course, it is an email course. It's not a PDF. You can do that, and you can sign up for our newsletter. We've had several flash sales in the last month. We did one on zeolite, and we did one on our individual minerals. So if you didn't know about those, I tried to announce them on the other social media. But if you wanted to make sure you got the announcement, as everybody says, email's the one thing that they can't suppress you on. So sign up for the email newsletter. We try not to send out too much stuff. But I usually announce the live streams the flash sales, and I'm working on some other things for that too. So yeah. This is our basic store, our shop. This is where you could find the Flush Niacin and the upcoming Niasoda, and then hopefully I have 2 other cool products in mind. That's the normal shop. Now also we have the VIP store. If you look up at the very top menu bar, there's the VIP store is for the Love Your Liver members, and it is password protected. Only the Love Your Liver members get the discounted stuff and the bulk stuff that's in there. So that's that. Oregon Jim said, "Are you still flow roping?" No, I still know how to do it. It just kind of, I like it. It just added more time to my workout that I didn't have. And I have really mobile shoulders and all that stuff. I like it. I kind of fell away. And like most people at the gym, it kind of fell away. I think it was kind of like a novelty. I like it. Don't get me wrong. If you got bad shoulders and bad mobility in your arms and your elbows and your wrists, flow roping is great. I already have that. And it just kind of I can't do everything in my workout. So I kind of moved on to other stuff. I'd rather be able to do a cool handstand than to get really good at flow roping. And I did get pretty good at it. Joe keeps running those links. There's my Substack. I'm working on getting more things out on the Substack over time. I'm going to start turning some of these live streams into Substacks with all the research. And then, kick.com. I need to start doing this. I'm going to start doing a Q&A for members only on Kick. Maybe I will get that set up this week. Now that I'm back, what I'm going to do. Okay. So Instagram, there's our Instagram, the.real nutrition detective. What my plan is on Kick, for those of you who are interested in, instead of, let's say, necessarily asking me super chats here, there will be a single price to join the private Kick live streams. And that will be where the inner circle will end up being located, is the thought. That's the potential plan. And what I'm going to do to kick it off, because I have to have 75 members to be able to do a private session, is I'll do a free live stream there that you guys can come and watch. So that's my plan on that. So I should get that scheduled and dated. That would be another reason to join the newsletter, because I'll definitely announce it on the newsletter. If you wanted to do a consultation with our blood test and our hair test with the lovely Kelsey or Nathan, you can sign up for that on the consultation page. I believe it's the consultation page. That's the website right there. And then, you can sign up you can pick who you work with, and then we can work with international people or US people. The difference in the prices is it's some of the labs that we can't get for international people. So yeah, Moto J, I would contact Joe about doing his biofield tuning, because he's done it for me before a live stream when I was feeling kind of anxious about something. I don't remember what it was, but it did actually calm me down. So Joe was showing the toxic bile paradigm. This is the starting point, the part 1 of 3 that I did with Beth Martins. Thank you, Beth, for helping me redo that. And that is the main video on our homepage on YouTube. So that is down on the homepage. That's that one. So, I think that's about it. Okay. So we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for coming. Sorry for starting late as usual, but, absolutely. Thank you for all the testimonials, people. Amazing. I do this to help. I got into medicine to help myself. I helped myself, and then I found that I was good at relating it to other people. And so now I'm here helping you guys, and we are constantly evolving the program. It does take a while between evolutions, right? You got to take a while to it's a very interesting process. I actually kind of liken it to, Oh, and Joe's website, Remedy Report. He's going to do his live stream right after this. But I kind of liken when I start getting new ideas or when they're coming, I jokingly likened it to pregnancy, because I kind of this is a really woo kind of thing. I kind of slowly start actually literally feeling worse, like as ladies do during pregnancy, as like the first trimester, second, third, I start feeling worse. And then all of a sudden, once the discovery happens, it's like the birth. And I figure out the new stuff and I start going down the rabbit holes. Then all of a sudden I feel amazingly better. And I'm like super happy again. And everything just makes sense. And it's all just coming to me left and right. So it was exactly like that. Actually, the first part of the week I was visiting Kelsey, I was not feeling good. I was really not feeling good. And then all of a sudden it hit and I figured it out. And then all of a sudden it was like I felt like I was on stimulants. Like I was like, wow, I feel like really hyped up and really amazing. So it's going to be really good. Stick around. And like I said, this may clear up some of the issues that some of you were having. I'm going to liken it. I'm going to connect it to the top 10 diseases that kill people in the US. I've already done most of that. It's pretty wild. So yeah, stick around. You all are very welcome. And we're going to keep getting Kelsey's products. I'm going to start working on the Flush Niacin soap that Kelsey came up with. So we got other projects. We got cool stuff. And we have unique stuff that nobody else has. And we're working on that more now. So I will see you all next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Go check out Joe's YouTube and his live stream. And you can contact him through the things he said here. And we will see you all. Oh, Jackie said, don't forget the like button. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And commenting helps, but the liking and subscribing and watching the channel for longer, that's what YouTube likes. YouTube likes you watching the channel for longer amounts of time. Okay? So I will see you all next time. Hope you enjoyed that. Bye now.